And now we're recording. There we go. We're on a yacht. We're on a sailboat, not a yacht.
No, it's a yacht.
It's a yacht. Sure.
Yeah, so yacht, it's technically, I think there, and our friend Johnny is here, who we've probably mentioned a million times. But, so what is it? It's like there is a length?
I think widely accepted 30 feet and above is, widely accepted is 30 feet and above is a yacht.
Yeah, yeah. So what is this thing?
38 feet.
So this thing is, Johnny, who's been my friend for over 10 years now, just bought this fucking stunning yacht / sailboat.
It's so awesome.
This is like if
so fucking awesome.
It's amazing. It's incredible. We've had an amazing day. But to tell people the difference between a yacht and a sailboat, this is like if Jordan Belfort was homeless.
Yeah.
It's a weird difference because this is luxury to me. The day we've had is incredible. Yeah. But we haven't thrown lobster at any fucking DEA.
If we threw a lobster at someone, it would hit another boat.
Yes, exactly.
When a layman hears yacht, they're like, "Oh, where's the chopper parked on top of it?" And it's like,
right?
Yeah,
we're fending off seals.
It's beautiful.
That's the American perspective on the word yacht.
It's the ignoramus's.
If you leave America, just sailboats are yachts. Of a certain size.
Yeah, it's like a European word. Yeah, exactly. Americans are idiots.
We're in the Stugatz right now, basically.
Yeah,
this is where Gloria Trillo broke up with Tony. she threw his fucking Christmas gift in the water. I've been in a boat a couple times, only when I was a human trafficker, and this is much nicer.
You were trafficking, not being trafficked?
I was being trafficked. I'm actually a sex slave that escaped years ago.
They would pour Cheerios down through a slit, and that's how you would...
I ate like a seagull.
Yeah. Pedialyte and Cheerios.
Yes, exactly. But we've had an incredible day. We're at this club.
Yeah.
And we had an incredible buffet.
It's an unnamed yacht club.
Devin.
It's just a yacht club. I don't know where we even are. It was
incredible.
I mean, you know how good a buffet has to be for the seafood, for the raw fish to be appealing. You know how incredible that is? I mean, it was glimmering. Yeah. Glistening.
I remember our friend John, he had a birthday and he goes, "Oh yeah, we got this great seafood buffet." I got there and it was disgusting. It was just like, I don't trust any of this.
You could see worms popping out of the fish.
You could squeeze blood vessels out of the fish like it was a pimple.
I mean, yes.
It was disgusting.
You never want to have sashimi with acne.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the exact opposite. This is your dream when you hear there is like a sashimi buffet.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, crab legs. And I think I've been pretty vocal about my hatred of crab for, on the podcast before, but that's because I had to fucking do the work. These people have done it all for you. It's half cut open. You just put the fork in.
Scoop it out or something. Do you know?
Right out.
A sharp knife.
Well, no, because it's so perfectly cut. I bet it's some kind of cooking saw.
Maybe
I've never seen it cut like that.
That's yacht mentality. That's the yacht owner mentality.
We're such peasants. We're like, they must have a saw of some type. Johnny's like, it's a knife.
I go, crab saw, right? Must be a crab saw? No.
Crab saw.
There were many clean cuts in the crab.
Yeah. Very clean cuts is my point.
I mean, we are living the high life here. These people have crab saws.
Oh man.
Oh, but no, it's amazing. This type it's weird when you're on a boat. You just want to kill your wife.
You want a slip to happen, and then nobody kind of saw what happened.
Exactly. Already, I'm feeling like I want to fucking bang Christopher Walken right now and have my wife walk in on us, and then I just have to give her the 1-2.
And like a neighbor's like, I think I heard screaming, but I can't testify.
Who knows? The Wagners are loud.
Exactly.
Natalie Wood's always fucking screaming about something.
She screams every night.
Every night.
That's going to be Richie, though.
We're going to kill Richie tonight. We're already talking about taking this beautiful piece of machinery out to Catalina.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if people that aren't from California know. Catalina is this island off of the coast of the Pacific Ocean, off of L.A. Yeah. And it's great, but it also looks like It looks like if, like Griffith Park was just an island. Like it looks like you could light it on fire with a match real quick. Like it's not.
There's a zoo full of sad SoCal animals out there.
Exactly. There's guys selling Bob Marley shirts. It's not like tropical.
Also, Johnny goes, first of all, I'm so in on sailing that I'm about to give up everything and just dedicate my life to saving up for a sailboat, learning how to sail, and just take to the high sea and kind of just leave society. But Johnny's going like, Catalina, we're going to get good at this. We're going to build a crew. You're going to man the sonar. We're going to get the bow. It swings around, going through the whole thing. And he goes,
Boom.
What is it?
The boom.
The boom.
Oh, yeah, the boom. Yeah. And then he goes, and there's a great casino in Catalina. And then I looked it up, and I go, Catalina Casino. There is. It's a crazy piece of, 20s architecture. And then I dig in a little bit, because I'm like, all right, do they have poker, and at what stakes? And then it goes, no, casino in Italian means a place of gathering. It's simply just like a venue where you go get a tour. It's like a museum.
It's where a bunch of sweaty, fucking hairy people eat meats.
Yeah,
That's exactly. Catalina
It's an
Express
Italian
out
gathering.
with a packaged charcuterie board.
Exactly. But yeah, so Catalina.
They sell salami.
That's Catalina's where Natalie Wood was killed.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Richie.
Or died. She
Richie,
wasn't
if you
killed.
disappear out there.
Supposedly was killed.
Allegedly. Yeah,
but-
we don't want to get sued
when
by walking.
I was in Catalina like a month and a half ago. My stepdad, he's not even married to my mom. I just call him my stepdad.
He's your dad. You
because
think
it's
of him as your
happening. He's
dad.
my father.
It becomes
now.
easier to just say that than like
It's
my
just easier. My mom's boyfriend, yeah.
They met 8 months ago.
So
he also picks you up and kind of
he gives me
rocks
bear
you.
hugs
He
and
rocks
all
you.
sorts of stuff.
Devin picked
he
me up.
feeds me.
Devin picked me up in a Lexus that he was letting him drive, and Devin goes, "Yeah, he left a piece of steak on the dash."
Yeah, he's a savage. He stole a bunch of sashimi from a really shitty sushi buffet in the desert. And he came back to my place one time, and he had a big cup just full of raw fish. And it was the other raw fish that he
plastic cup.
There was other fish that he felt were more special than the other fish, and he separated them with tissue.
It's like an
in the cup.
An
Tissue
aging
paper?
poke bowl.
It was like if a poke bowl had a beard.
Did he try to give you some?
No, I don't. Actually, he's tried to give me oysters many times, and I'm like, you're trying to poison me.
Yeah.
He gets his oysters from Costco.
It's like they're in a trash bag. You pull them out of your trunk. I'll no thanks.
Yeah. So he's a maniac. He's a lovable maniac.
I feel like we just walked right over the fact that he separated them with
a tissue. I'm not kidding. Like a Kleenex was
Tissue
in the
paper.
middle of
Fish,
this
raw
cup.
Yeah, I
fish.
think those have chemicals on them because it's scented and stuff.
Were they
Oh,
moisturized?
they were
Yeah,
totally
lotion,
The
yeah.
fucking fish was lubed up.
Oh,
And he just
Jesus
kept it in the fridge,
Christ.
and then he left. He never got it. And then
Right.
I
You
had
never
to throw,
saw him again.
Yeah, I had to throw this science experiment away. I never saw him again. He's my dad.
He left your mom.
He left my mom that
Yeah.
day.
Soggy tissue sushi.
But he got us me and Ida's Christmas gift was a big trip to Catalina.
Oh, that's right.
So we went out to Catalina and we had to go through this whole day where we did a Patreon on it where it was about a falconry where we had to see the rare birds.
I'm a huge falconry fan,
Well,
by the way.
when we
can
go
talk
to
about this for
Catalina-
the rest of the pod.
Dude, the falconry is amazing. If you haven't done it yet, you got to do the falconry.
No.
See,
One
you've seen
time-
Kess.
I had hawks that lived in the canyon behind my house when I lived out in Glendale in the hills, and I felt like I befriended them in a sense. And I would occasionally stand in my backyard with a piece of ham in my hand.
No shit?
And hold it out, hoping that a hawk would come eat the ham out of my hand.
I thought you were going to say that you developed a ritual where they would actually come.
It was
my
the most
God.
idiotic idea I've ever had.
I've done that. I've done that too.
Yeah, this is why I won't be on camera for this, this podcast. And I would stand out there and do this and go.
Dude, you could have gotten brutally
Yeah.
fucked
By the way,
Do you realize
quiet.
the talons on those things?
They would have
if it would've
fucked you.
worked?
Yeah.
You have to wear a glove that's made of tons of leather and
Now
it's
I know
armor
this.
in it. I mean, you hear those seals?
Yeah,
I
we
was
can
trying to
hear-
get him on mic.
I hear them.
We can hear seals.
Man,
Anyways,
you listen to those fucking
seals are out
fat
there.
fucks. It's like
Yeah.
the Ralphie
Richie.
May of the sea.
They're on the dock and they're just.
Richie, you almost fought a seal today.
I wanted to walk up close, but I pussied out because you said that they're dangerous.
They're mean.
They
They're
are mean, but they look
yeah.
like you want to fuck with them because they don't have arms.
Yeah, I know.
Their arms are fins. You just want to be like, come on,
what if
chase
I-
me, fat boy.
You can tell they're strong. They're fat, but
What
you
if
can
I-
tell that big body.
Yeah.
If they wanted to like bite you and yank you,
Yeah.
Oh no,
like,
you're
they
done.
could yank you.
They're kind of like crocodiles or like alligators, but with like a smooth skin.
I don't know about
muscle.
that, but there's
Anyway, I think they're crocodiles. We saw some crocodiles today.
You do feel like you could just front kick one in the face and nothing would happen.
Yeah.
You probably could if you, not you, but like I could. Or
One was
the super baby could.
the super
For me, an infant or Joey, but not me.
Yeah.
Have we talked to Caesar about having his baby fight
Fight
a seal?
a seal.
I'll bring it up.
That would be a
I'm
great
sure he'll say
fight.
yes. I guarantee you he'll say yes. We should just start testing him and being like, give him, would he fight an animal?
He's willing
It
to
might
let
be-
his child fight anybody.
It might be more interesting to ask him what he won't let his baby fight.
Well, that's
You know, is
that's
there
what
anything?
he won't answer that. But if I just keep escalating and like eventually we get to like a bobcat or something, and
Yeah.
he'll be like, oh, I think that's dangerous, my
Same
friend.
weight
I don't know. It's
Same
getting,
way. I go, wait a second. He'll be like, okay, maybe. Is it trained? I go, yeah. They're like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
it's getting to the point with Caesar that I feel like we could pitch to him like, we want to play Russian roulette with your baby.
How many rounds in the chamber, my friend? How many rounds?
And he'd be like, sure, my brother.
Yeah.
I mean, not the full gun, but
Yeah.
maybe a couple bullets.
One round is 6-round chamber. That's fine, brother.
Like that magician that had
Yeah.
that had
You're
the
like-
Hulu special that was
Oh yeah, exactly.
He goes, does he kick the gun? You go, no, he puts it to his head.
Pulls the
He
trigger
goes,
a bunch of times.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Pulls the trigger.
He goes, Joshua, has great trigger awareness. Joshua, I've been training Joshua with the triggers on the guns, and he holds the guns right in his mouth. and
It's
he goes,
trigger discipline.
Joshua, he yells as he puts the gun in his mouth. And
It's a deer hunter kind of
he's
performance.
training him, Joshua,
De
with
Niro
deer
and
hunter.
Deer Hunter, this baby, it's so amazing.
I tape his eyes open and make him watch the deer hunter.
I say Didi Mao. Didi Mao, Joshua.
We go, Caesar, would you let Joshua come with us to Bangkok to fuck hookers?
He goes,
He goes,
can
"Of
you wear a
course, brother."
condom, my
He
friend?
goes, of course, Joshua already baby, no child sex traffic, no problems with Joshua.
He goes, if anyone commits crime, it's the hooker.
He's technically baby already. No underage prostitute and the whatnot. These seals are wild. I feel also like they're gonna break in.
Yeah, they're wild too.
That seal
Does
earlier.
that happen ever, by the way? Does a
Yeah,
seal
do they
get on a
ever?
boat?
Do they ever get
You
a?
know who else asked me that just the other day is my 11-year-old child.
I'm
She
a
said-
simpleton.
She said, do the seals, can they come in to our boat?
Yeah.
And I said, that's a really dumb question even for an 11-year-old.
Are you serious?
I think a boat a seal could climb a 4-foot ramp.
They're hopping on the dock. First of all, actually, I think they probably could.
They're doing stuff I
think
didn't
actually
think they
you
could
don't
already.
understand seals.
I
They're-
think you're probably right.
Well, 'cause they're
I truly
very-
don't.
they're
I
very-
think. Well, maybe not 4 feet. That's actually a big jump. But there are boats that are level with the
I know.
dock.
Well, Joey, they're very reminiscent of humans we see every day lying on the street.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's what makes me think that they have the same capabilities as a human.
When
You're
you come to
you're
a-
saying they're the Venice Beach style seals.
It's
One of them
it's
tried to-
reminiscent.
One
That's
of-
all I'm saying.
I mean, it is reminiscent. One of them tried to sell me a mixtape.
This is
As
why
we were walking here, they go like, "Yo, you want to listen? You like hip hop? You like hip hop?" And I was like, "Sure." And he put the headphones on me, and I was like, "That's a great song, man."
Yeah.
And then I tried to leave, and he goes, "What? You think that shit's free? You want a free sample?
Free listen?
Free listen?"
This
These-
is why Gavin Newsom's getting recalled. Out of control seals.
I was so excited. I got the pamphlet for Gavin Newsom getting recalled, and I was so excited that Caitlyn Jenner was at the very bottom of the list.
Is she not?
What is going
popular
on?
as a
He's
candidate?
actually getting recalled.
I got the I got the voter thing. I can vote against him, which he didn't give me my $600.
You didn't get it yet?
I didn't. I don't think I'm gonna get
Hey,
it.
Newsom.
Yeah, I want my 600 or it's Caitlyn Jenner vote for you.
I'm already
Pretty-
voting
pretty
for Caitlyn
boy.
Jenner.
You're going to be working at the French Laundry.
It's so funny to be on a yacht and Richie's yelling for his
Yelling
unemployment.
About class
fucking
disparity.
stimulus check.
Oh my $600!
And she's like, "Don't think my life is good."
Start up the engine. I want my $600.
My favorite thing from that last episode was Richie said something. He's like, "Yeah, I just got, He's like, I think this weekend's going to be a lot of fun. I just got my EBT. and I go, whoa. I go, how much? He goes, I don't really want to say. I go, how much? He goes, $832. Just gave up the exact
They
amount.
immediately
So
took
proud.
it away, by the way.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I had to send.
what happened?
Because they were like, if you don't send in how much you get for unemployment, you might have to pay it back. So I got scared. I sent that in. Now I get $17.
Oh, fuck.
I'm fucked.
That's responsible of you, though. That would suck to end up owing
I was
them.
worried about getting
Devin, can you
charged
grab
for
me one of those?
fraud. You know, whatever. But yeah, now I
Thank you.
get $17.
You're getting 8?
$17.
So you're buying drinks tonight?
Yeah.
Wait. Why'd
You
they
can't
take it
buy
away
alcohol.
from you?
I reported my income and then they lowered from $235 to $17.
You reported your income.
Yeah,
sounds like that was.
I
your
was
mistake,
worried. They
was
said if I didn't, I'd
Yeah.
have to pay it back.
reporting it.
That was a mistake.
I know in
think.
Florida, someone signed me up for it, and I remember him on the phone talking about it. And he's like, he has money. He was fine. He goes, I'm so hungry. Just please help me out,
Oh,
please.
wow.
And then they gave us money immediately.
You should spend a little time on the phone.
Well,
My
wait.
point is
Why
you
is your
lie.
income?
Lie.
Why
That's
is
my
your
point.
income so good that you can't get that? You're on unemployment.
They told me to report it when I got it. I got the unemployment. I sent in like the screenshot of my payments, and they took all my money away.
Oh fuck!
You
took it
should have
all away.
photoshopped something.
I told them I was on unemployment too, and I'm getting more than you.
It's sad, I know. I got a bunch to start out with. I mean, I got a lot of money at the start.
And they took that away or no?
No, they kept me that,
Okay.
but now I only get.
So you're
17.
fine.
Welcome to Joe Biden's America, people.
Goddamn right.
Apparently, on 9/11, we all get our money, our EDD taken away.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Why'd he make it September? He literally made it September 11th.
That's what the EDD email said to me. 9/11, the end of the federal extension.
The 300.
I bet. I
mean,
bet
that's all that matters.
I bet Ben and 4chan have theories on that.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
I'm
By the
it's
way,
something
great
with
Patreon episode. Ben
Listen-
Avery.
Yes, great plug. I mean, an excellent Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Literally the best we've ever done. One of the best episodes we've ever
Period,
done on
yeah.
Patreon, period.
We couldn't put it out public for various reasons.
And
but
Ben has some hilarious
Yeah.
thoughts about
Yeah.
pedophiles and
Yeah.
that they all do heroin to stop their pedophilia.
no.
That all pedophiles are secret
No, you have
heroin
it backwards.
addicts.
You have it backwards.
Oh, no, what I
He says every heroin addict is actually a pedophile trying to keep their pedophilia
At bay.
by that's why they do heroin.
Well, that makes heroin seem much more appealing for the general population. If that's really why people are doing it,
That was part of
they
his
should-
point.
Yeah,
he goes. If I was a doctor, I'd just be prescribing heroin to every pedophile.
Ben's old school. He's like a Ronald Reagan's Secretary of Health with this.
he is.
He's like, let's just dump them all in homes and boot them up with heroin.
And he kept using the term a virtuous pedophile, which is apparently, I went home and I'm like, did he just make that up? I typed it in and there's like a whole Wikipedia about the virtuous pedophile. Or not a Wikipedia, but something.
Sure.
What is that?
It's somebody who's a pedophile, but they just don't act on it. So they're
Okay.
like, they're
I've
just,
heard that
Right.
before.
so
It means they go on Twitter and they go,
deserve-
like, give me love for not being a
They should
pedophile.
get- yeah, exactly. On the
Yeah,
back.
No, but it was a
Ben's into, he knows some dark web
Ben knows
shit.
a lot of creepy shit that is all lies, but I'm willing to go with it.
Oh yeah, it's all the foggiest, worst, half-baked theories that he didn't put any thought
Well-
into, but
well-
they're very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come out and
Some
say
of
it.
it might pan out.
Well, they might. We'll come out and say it. About 45 minutes of the episode is us calling Anthony Bourdain a pedophile.
Mainly Ben, and then Devin just quickly is such a Pizzagate guy that he's like, yeah, he's a pedophile. I was like every 10 minutes I'd be like, hey, I don't think he's a pedophile. Go on.
Yeah.
No reservations about raping children.
Well, he didn't like his kids very much, so maybe he's not a pedophile. He didn't spend much
Right.
time with his own kids.
See?
You're saying he didn't like his kids enough to sexually
Yeah, but that
molest
just
them.
means he's
Yeah.
not into incest. That means he likes
Right.
he just wanted to go out to all these other guys. I said on the Patreon, why is he in Thailand so much? Okay? Why are you always on these boats in Thailand?
He had a travel show.
We think but we think you saw it after a while, Bourdain. They're like, how about we go to Hungary? He's
Yeah,
like,
but-
no, let's stick with Thailand.
wanna
I like
keep-
the rules here.
My understanding of Bourdain is that he was driven to insanity by having a girlfriend that was too hot and crazy to handle.
That is it.
And he didn't know how to process it, and it made him very sad.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
No, you guys are 100% right.
Was
I just,
Asia Argento
I'm
not
fucking
Not
around.
to blame
Was it-
Asia
wait.
Argento, but
Was she?
No,
was she that hot?
Excuse me. Asia.
Was Asia that
Get it
hot?
right.
No, she's
Right. No, she was
Too
very
hot to
She's hot
handle.
for him. She's hot. I mean, she's hot, but like, he turned into an old cuck. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
her,
He just
like,
got
famous
the end of this
guy.
documentary is sad. It's hard to fucking watch. I mean, all his best friends, everyone that worked on the show with him for a decade, he started firing people because they had disagreements with her. He had her direct an entire episode. He's in the middle of the episode talking to these like fucking asylum seekers.
So
These
he's like John Lennon now.
he's literally like I'm not kidding.
Yoko.
She was
John
Yoko.
Lennon's John
She was
Lennon's a
Yoko.
loser. We found.
If
out.
John Lennon hired Mark David Chapman to kill him, then it would be the same thing. But like,
have you guys seen any of her dad's films, the Dario Argento's films? He's
Wait,
a
what?
world
Did you show me what?
famous
He's a
Italian.
world famous Italian
What did he make?
film director, horror movies, like a very visceral type of horror movie that was traumatic to watch. And there was a whole genre that he was the figurehead of, the Diallo.
If I saw them, it was with you, and that's
I'm not a big fan of that kind
Okay.
of movie, so I don't it's just too visceral, like a lot of stabbings with close up on the knife and the
Okay.
blood, and
Right.
it's really kind of vicious, gross, visceral kind of horror.
Yeah.
And he used to put her in his movies when she was young, and these are very
So
crazy
she's like a
movies,
pedophile
so-
that was a pedo. She was a victim and then
She is
became
a pedophile.
I don't
She's
know.
a-
Allegedly,
She's an alleged.
No,
She
she's a confirmed
she
pedophile,
confirmed
I
like
think.
confirmed
No, I
tried
think
to
she
you're
is.
actually
Tried to
I know
fuck
what
like
you're
a
referring to
15-year-old.
now. Yeah, she had a relationship with an underage male. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, so no,
crazy
not
that-
pedophile, but she underage sex.
It's crazy that Dario one of
Statutory rape.
yeah.
one of Dario Argento's best films is about a young woman that gets a chef to kill himself.
What?
Really?
Oh my god! I thought that was like an internet
You
conspiracy.
sold that so hard.
It's about to be.
Was that too well
Yeah,
sold?
you said it real,
You said
yeah.
it so candid.
I instantly believed you.
So did I.
Well, we could look into his resume.
It's called Diallo,
Let's start watching
I
his movies.
believe, and they're very influential films because they were coming out in I believe the 70s, the 80s, and they were this sort of whole gritty new genre that hadn't been done before in Italy and especially European cinema in general. But
So at the
he's
time,
he's considered a legend in filmmaking.
I've heard his name a million times.
I've
because
heard
of
his
all
name
the
too,
all the new ground that he broke with this type of work.
Yeah.
And she is stunningly beautiful in my
Yes.
opinion. Very exotic
is,
looking
yeah.
and a really interesting actress. But she's
the hot chick for. Go ahead.
And
sorry.
I almost I feel bad because I was about to say she really did a number on Bourdain, but you don't know whether or
Bourdain
not
is
who's
sensitive.
to blame
No,
there.
he
right?
did it.
Like,
Absolutely,
He
he
might
did.
have not lived as long as he did without having.
He did it to
some-
himself,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I saw the documentary. Like, I will not blame her. She's
Sure.
just playing her role. Of
It's
like,
really
yeah, you're
not-
into me, and
it's-
I'm a director, and I'll direct your show.
It's not
and-
that much hardship to get cheated on or whatever, and then to have a really hot chick who's kind of just bossing you around. It's like, okay, people have real problems. He's a sensitive artist kind of guy. He was a heroin addict, and he's just like a sensitive person. Like, it's just the guy.
He had seen-
nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that you can't. She did a lot of bad stuff, but you can't blame her for the
You know what
death.
I
No.
love,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of society really why he became so popular and why so many people are so attached to him on a certain level is not just that he was a great entertainer and writer and chef and everything, but it was about how he came from nothing, almost like working his way up through these restaurants.
line cook.
And if you think about the people you know in life and the people you attach to, it's rare for people to sort of emerge from that sort of world
Great
and to
story.
go from being a line cook in a restaurant to sort of internalizing that, hey, there's a story to tell about this and figuring out how to build a new level of life.
He
for
was a
yourself.
Tarantino kind of Tarantino-esque kind of person, like Tarantino made Reservoir Dogs, and he blew up from complete obscurity. Bourdain was a line cook, and he wrote that book, Kitchen Confidential, or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that thing became a bestseller, and just like so, it's this great story, like
He's
an underdog
relatable
story.
to the
Exactly.
entire
Yeah, yeah,
spectrum
Yes.
of humanity.
It's
on
a
some
story
level.
of a from the bottom to the top thing. Like
Yeah.
his perseverance was incredible. He's a miserable line cook in New York.
Yeah.
With a stressful job, and he was waking up every morning at like 8 a.m. and writing like all the time, like for years, and that's why he wrote his book. And it's incredible. And he was obviously a very talented guy, but I think what also people connected with was the normality of him as well. Like they felt like when he's in a new place that they're also.
Yeah.
I could see myself being him in this land. You know what I mean? Like most travel things, it's always like very famous people there. It's always like, you know, people that you'll never be able to have what they have.
They're also like overly excited about everything.
And they're always way too into it.
Yeah.
Whereas Anthony Bourdain was like, yeah, I'll have a couple drinks. He's like, maybe today I'm a little depressed. Like I'm in this new land. He's eating at huts. He's eating at like, you know, street food.
Right.
And he was just, I think he related to people in that just classic American way. And you know what was incredible about the documentary? He had never traveled until the show.
Yeah, he was like a New York City.
He literally never left New York. He was like me.
He was a townie. Yeah,
he was like Charlie Kelly.
It's a New York City townie. Yeah.
Yeah,
he gives you you mentioned like the Americanism of it, right? And he gives you a little bit of hope in the concept of meritocracy, that if you're talented, no matter what your status in life is and your stature and your upbringing, if you have a talent and you pursue your talent and you dedicate yourself to doing something new above and beyond what you're doing today, you can become wildly successful. And he did that. And he continued to do that with his, you know, Brazilian jiu-jitsu achievements. And like once he realized that, hey, I'm kind of an embodiment of this American concept of meritocracy that doesn't exist very widely outside of America. I hate to, I'm not being a nationalist about it. I just mean that other cultures don't necessarily prioritize those sorts of things. And he was the living embodiment of, you know, somebody who was promoted based on their merits. And he came from a very simple scenario and created opportunity for himself by documenting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the end of this doc, man, it haunted me for a couple days after I saw it, because
the end of the doc.
Well, listen, the first hour and 20 minutes is just about his rise and becoming Anthony Bourdain,
right.
and the whole time, if you know anything about him, I'm just waiting for like, okay, what the fuck happened there?
Right, what is your deal?
Because you're watching the documentary, like, how did this guy kill himself? I mean, he had some punk rock, like edgy. Oh man, what's the point of life moments? But it never felt like you're gonna kill yourself. And then he meets this woman, Asia Argento. Let's not get the name wrong, okay? Support the Me Too movement.
Asia Argento.
No, it's not Asia. God damn it!
You say entree also.
Asia Argento.
So he meets Asia, and he's just like, he's alive again. You know what I mean? And she's got tattoos, and she's young, and he just has this connection.
She's a muse.
He thinks, but she's a muse. She's like, I'm with Anthony Bourdain. I don't fucking, okay, cool. I'll suck your dick here and there, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so then it gets to the point where he's like ruining his relationships, like decade-long relationships with people that worked on Parts Unknown or No Reservation, whatever the show.
Yeah, those are both.
There are two shows. He's like, he fires like one of the fucking like directors of the show that worked with him for like 11 years, just on a whim, like one day, because he had like a little disagreement with Asia.
Not making Bourdain look good.
And there's what's cool about the documentary is that his friends are very honest. People that work with him on the show, they love him, they adore him.
But talking about his flaws.
But they are like, not until the end, they are like, you could tell they're still dealing with like what a sudden change happened with him near in the last like 6-7 months. And there's a scene in it that's fucking incredible where he had Asia direct an entire episode.
Yeah.
And he's interviewing like these asylum seekers from some country. They're just these guys that like literally escaped, you know, a horrific life. And they're sitting there and they're all eating outside of like a food truck or whatever. And the guy's telling him his story, and he's like getting really emotional. And Anthony's listening, and then he goes like, "Oh, hold on, stop." He goes, "Asia, do we need to get the angle? This angle?
Are you happy with the angle?" Yeah.
And he starts doing that, and they have all these shots of the asylum seekers, like these like fucking guys that were just like spilling their whole lives out. They're just like, "Oh, okay." And he goes like, you do it again.
Yeah.
You want to just recreate that.
Recreate
your pain.
Bourdain strikes me as the kind of guy that was just trying to stay afloat, survival-wise.
He keeps trying to go up, though. He keeps trying to do more than he's done before, and that creates a sense of torture for a lot of people. It's like the Peter principle in that concept of people get promoted in business to
the point until they're incompetent. Yeah.
All right, but
and he may hit a creative ceiling in a sense and not know how to deal with it.
My take on it was this. It's that Bourdain actually was maintaining the same level of effort to escape whatever his demon was, right? So his first attempt to escape it was heroin and hard drugs. That didn't work. His next attempt was, let me put all of this energy, all this heroin energy, into writing a book. Let's try fame. Let's try critical acclaim. That he gets that. Doesn't quite, that lasts probably a year or two where I feel pretty good. And then that ran out. And then he starts going like, all right, let's do a TV show or something. And he's constantly escaping this demon of his. And then I think his last attempt was Asia Argento.
Yeah.
He goes, let me get some young hot piece of ass for him.
So basically
and then that failed, and he goes, none of these are working.
Yeah.
I've tried everything. It's time to hang myself.
She's seen
or get killed by the pedophile police.
She's seen in TMZ holding another guy's hand and obviously in a fling with a guy. And they say, look, the last thing in the documentary is like one guy that worked on the show with him came out onto a balcony and Anthony's standing there and he's smoking a cigarette and he goes, and the guy goes like, are you doing okay, man? Like, how you doing with what,
This is the last known footage.
Like one of the last, some of the last, I mean, not last, it's not footage. It's just last known, last guy's interaction
it's a guy
him.
telling
the story.
Yeah.
And he goes like on a balcony with him and he's like, how you doing with this? And Anthony goes, little fucking discretion, And the guy thought he meant like me talking to you right now.
But
and then he realized that he
Asia.
meant with Asia and the TMZ and all that. And then I think he just had a blind fit of rage and killed himself like out of anger.
I think he was just like...
Because he was completely sober.
Yeah.
That's what was crazy. He was sober when he did it.
Right, that's why I think it was this long, calculated... It was the final straw in a long series of attempts to be happy. For his depression or whatever it was, and then he's like, "I think I've tried enough stuff. Enough."
There's
enough
also something to be said for a guy like that. That's like his whole life went from you lived like the domestic life. You know what I mean? Like you lived the classic American, like working from the bottom. You work in a kitchen in New York. You've had all the kitchen experiences. You've had all the New York experiences. Then all of a sudden you get to travel the world because you're famous. So you get fame on top of seeing everything.
Yeah.
At a certain point, what is next?
That's what I'm saying.
Literally, what is there to do?
Right.
You've seen every sunset. You've seen every fucking mountain.
Every nook and corner of the world.
Yeah.
Well, this is the asshole take, which is like, what do? You travel and eat.
Yeah.
What do you do? You're all so sad. Like, I got to take it to the next level, and I got to meet these people, and
he might have been depressed
Asia
that
Argento isn't shooting these people correctly, or my girlfriend, and
you're literally just having conversations with people.
Do?
Like, hey, maybe
you travel, you talk, you eat.
Maybe he should have started writing another book.
Does.
Maybe you write another book. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
need to get yourself going on some other level.
Over that.
Well, it's funny. A lot of what we would consider sabbaticals,
pedophilia.
right, where you need to get a break for a significant amount of time from your way of living and change your perspective. He did those sabbaticals for a living.
That was his work.
He never. How else does one escape from monotony? And when the sabbaticals become monotonous, then if you don't have the patience, I think you're probably right. Those moments of rage where you've spent years potentially thinking what's next, and you've seen what happens when you level up consistently.
Yeah.
And then you hit this ceiling in a sense, creatively or professionally, or just in terms of your mental health and your ability to keep, finding serotonin boosts and dopamine rushes. Like when what most humans consider a vacation is your job, then where do you go? Do you go back to where you started? And
he had a screw loose for a long time, and he was constant. He goes, "Let me find the antidote to this."
He won his own personal lottery. Yeah. Like imagine anything you want. Imagine tomorrow you get, everything you've ever like. All of a sudden, I'm a UFC commentator. And then you do it all for like a decade, and you're maybe like, okay, now what though? Like people, how they say like people that win the lottery like become very suicidal when they have everything.
They go broke.
They go broke,
it speaks to the nature of human emotional capacity, in that humans, we like to believe that very successful people and people that are turned into heroes by the media or some other. We like to believe that they have a certain happiness that transcends what we all experience as happiness, or people that are tragedies in the world who go through infinite suffering and terrible life scenarios with illnesses and born with terrible scenarios. That their suffering is somehow deeper than our own ability to suffer, and I can sort of tell you that my experience in having a kid who has got some pretty severe health issues or did at some point, and the sympathy you would get from other people. They're like, oh, I can't even imagine what you're going through. I used to tell them, well, you can't imagine what I go through, because it's just, when you have fear, it's the same sense of fear I have. When you have pain, it's the same pain. Humans are not capable, because there's so much actual chemistry involved with your feelings and your emotions, but we create this sort of concept in our mind that these heroes or these villains or these people who are suffering and in pain experience those emotions differently than we do.
It's the hedonic treadmill. Have you heard of this concept?
No.
It's basically no matter how good or bad your life gets, you'll eventually kind of level out to the same sort of mindset.
I used to feel bad that I didn't feel sadder. Like I had a kid who has seizures when he was young, between 3 and 11 or so. He used to have terrible seizures, and I used to feel bad that when people would give me their sympathy that I didn't feel as sad as they expected me to. And then I just realized, no, sadness has a floor.
Yeah.
Happiness has a floor.
That's the treadmill,
and it is, no matter what people go through, we are all the same in many ways. And it's just some people experience certain emotions more frequently. But even people who suffer on an ongoing basis, you don't always feel sad.
Floor.
You don't,
sure,
you,
exactly.
In fact, I would wager that a lot of times those people find more opportunities for happiness than your average person does. Because their baseline is so low, and the benchmark is such a low mark, that actual happiness, like you, I, all of us experience, is more within reach for them, because they spend most of their time suffering, and so it's all relative.
Absolutely,
right.
I'm fortunate that I've gotten to a place in my life where I think that I've realized that. I'm pretty confident that even if I got I won the lottery, I'm very confident that my life, I would not feel that much different. That's my belief, is that I wouldn't feel that much different. I think some people just, they've got, maybe it's a brain chemistry thing or whatever, just something is not, allowing them to have that realization. But
I think there are different types of emotions that some people are exposed to based on achievement of great things. Like, I think there's a deeper sense of satisfaction, for example, that older people have when they retire, for example. Like people who have
earned it, sure,
feeling where they've like worked for something for decades and finally achieved it, or they've climbed some sort of a mountain and hit that point. I think there are new feelings, but I think that the way we process celebrities and way we process figures in the media is often like we're projecting all of these feelings onto Bourdain's experience.
Yeah,
but
totally.
My read on this is that he probably hit some ceilings in terms of happiness. He probably, was maybe naturally depressed and had this sort of very low floor. And once you're up here very high, it's very easy to crash from there and kind of revisit the floor.
We also could be overanalyzing it. Like, listen, my dad my mom used to call him a rageaholic. I think there is a rage DNA in my family. I have had bouts of rage where I can't believe what I
called
was
the waitress
thinking
the N-word
about
at
doing.
the yacht club.
Earlier today,
Was that? That
I
was
did, and she
probably the
was
rage
white, so that was crazy. But no, I've had moments where I have so much anger, you're high, like you can't even. And
it's called being Italian.
And it's
called being a Goomba.
Being Sicilian. But so I think maybe we're not even giving enough credit to the fact that maybe Bourdain was literally just so angry at this woman that I think people could kill themselves out of
a blind rage.
Harm someone else.
Like, hey,
spite.
deal with
The
this
reason
now.
I don't
Why don't you
think-
deal? It might not even have come from depression.
The
It could
reason
come from
I don't think that is
fucking
because
deal
he
with
has
this.
such a history of being a very hardcore drug addict, and it's for so many years. That's why I don't buy that he was a normal, well-adjusted guy that went into a fit of rage. But maybe, I don't know, maybe.
Well, what makes him? What would make you a normal, well-adjusted guy to go into a fit of suicidal rage?
You were saying
you're
that
pretty
he
normal, well-adjusted guy. Minus the fits
I don't
of
think
rage.
I'd ever kill
Yeah,
myself.
you're the
to,
expert.
like,
You're the Sicilian.
spite
Right, but
This is your
somebody.
theory.
Yeah, but I don't understand killing.
But I'm
yourself.
not saying I'm him. He's another level. I've
Right,
never
but
done
that's what I'm saying.
heroin for a decade. I
I
know.
don't understand killing yourself over a fit of rage. I think what most people don't understand in general about Bourdain killing himself is the level of options that he had, just as a person in society, and the level of money, or just in general to start a restaurant or to go back to New York or do whatever you choose to do. I
or
think that's-
fade out of the spotlight for
Right.
a while. Relax.
That's where people get kind of upset, where they're like, well, even someone who's like, I make $80K a year. That's pretty fucking good.
That's great,
$80K a year is great. They go, I'm depressed all the goddamn time. I deal with the same shit. I can sort of relate to you, but I have some options, and I don't even have close to the amount of options you have, and you still did it. So what
That's
is your
the rub,
big
right?
fucking complaint?
I think he was angry. I think a lot. Listen, suicide is ultimately somewhat selfish, and
Very selfish.
It's a very selfish decision. I mean, listen, the guy had kids he wasn't finished raising, so I don't have that.
Everyone knows it's selfish.
I don't have that much sympathy.
controversial
As I
thing.
think about those kids, and that's horrific to have to be like, what? Because
You can have empathy.
because his fling
Yeah.
cheated on him, and it was
Yeah.
public.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like
what's the
insane.
explanation?
What is the real explanation
I
here?
hope it's not the fling. I hope it's something way bigger.
I hope it's not either, but I don't
The
know.
pedophilia ring.
I
I hope it's a pedophilia.
If I was the kid, I would be personally investigating my dad's pedophilia.
He was being
just
hunted
to feel
by the-
better about his suicide.
The triads were hunting him for being a pedophile.
triad.
The triads. But I really, he at the end of that documentary, you're like, man, he was like mega cucked.
God.
Because not only did he get with this woman that everyone's like, all right, like this Yoko, like, what are you doing? You're like ruining your show, your legacy, you're firing your best friends. Also, he was on like CNN like every day for like a fucking year talking about the Me Too movement, being like real Me Too-y. People in the documentary were saying he was cutting off friendships with like people through email. He wasn't responding to his best friends through email just because they would say one thing about something politically that he was like, no nonsense. Like we're talking that 2016, 2017, like Trump just won and
Weinstein got
everyone's
outed.
just like, fucking, you better, you fucking, women and how dare
Believe
you.
all women.
And I can't believe you would ever think there's anything else that could have happened. Like,
You know what's funny is that's like a millennial trope or cliche, where it's like, these millennials, they cut off their family because they don't agree politically. Bourdain was 60 years old doing
right, it's
that.
not a millennial
kinda
trope.
weird.
It's not a trope. It's a trope of an ideology. It's
Yeah.
not a trope of a
transcends
being
age,
born in
yeah.
a decade.
Yeah.
And so I think then when you do all that and you ruin your lifelong friendships and you start doing things in the media where you're like, what the fuck did I do? And it was all for a woman that ultimately just cheats on you publicly.
Yeah.
You become like, oh my God.
Sure. No, I agree with that.
I changed
I'm
my whole
felt
life
like-
for you.
I think it was
He
both.
might have-
I think he had the demons, and then that also he had the rage. I
Yeah.
think both. Yeah.
And it's that concept that some people feel things deeper than others. Okay, no, the fact is that not everyone feels rage, uncontrollable rage. Everyone can get angry, and everyone can have their sort of flaws in that sense. But when he had this impotent rage, he wasn't able to. The rage didn't do him any good.
Don't you think
Yeah,
that's a
right.
little
Undomesticated rage.
Don't you think that's a little egotistical though to be like, I feel rage deeper and
Right, no,
different
that's
than
my point.
everybody.
Totally, no,
That's my
but
point.
if you're famous
Yeah.
like that, he definitely thinks of himself in a higher plane
Yep.
than regular people.
Right.
That's my
his
point.
whole thing that
But his
everyone
whole thing is that
everyone
he-
connected to him because he acted like he was just the everyman. But it's impossible to be that famous.
Okay,
and
so now
be-
we're
He's
saying
also
that
not
he's
going
not
around
the
he
claiming
did not
this.
think he was
It's
an everyman. He
uncontrollable.
thought he was like a Renaissance man.
Right, so that
That
changes.
he thought he was a
that
Renaissance
changes his
man that
legacy.
ate Baba Ganoush. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
like
changes his legacy though.
I mean, yeah, it does, I guess, a little bit. I mean, listen, how he ended it does. It's hard to go along with somebody that made the decision to kill themselves
based on what he
over
did.
like weird like
Even
nothingness.
Picasso, people question that as
Hey,
kind
if
of
he
a
didn't-
joke.
if
I mean,
he-
I know it's been a long time. We don't know the guy at all, but
If the guy didn't have kids, I wouldn't really like vilify it.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
you
had
can't do
children
that
that
with
weren't
kids.
done aging.
it's
They were
bigger than-
not.
it's bigger than
it's
you.
bigger than you, and you're supposed to be this. How many fucking sunsets do you have to look at to realize that the world's not about you?
yeah.
and your relationship
Without kids,
with some
I
tattooed
I have
French
empathy,
woman.
but I agree.
mean,
You gotta,
Yeah.
you can't do that with kids. It's
I have empathy too, but yeah, it's just honestly, at the end, I'm like, you motherfucker, dude.
So
you ruined all these
Yeah.
people in your life. They all have to figure out a way to go on and
Honestly,
justify this. And
You're right. We all. I think if you apply a certain degree of importance to human life on the individual level, you should feel those things. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, it's easy to vilify someone like him for what he did, the actions he took. But life is very fragile.
Yeah, no, I know.
And sometimes it ends because of physical recklessness or disease or whatever. But other
mental
times,
illness.
and many times, it ends because of mental
that's
issues
what I was
and
getting
mental
to.
illnesses. And it's easy to get mad at him.
Maybe it is.
No, I
Simply,
know.
Maybe it's simply just mental illness, and that's so hard to just swallow.
Yep.
When it's like everybody's dealing with their own shit, and you just go like, "Is it?" You think of a guy like this who has all these things, does all these things that seem so fun, realistically, and you're just like, "It's just fucking
like, how dare
mental
you?"
illness."
But he has a
God
right-
damn
I
it.
know.
Fuck.
He has a right to end his life, and
everyone
he has a
does.
right-
Everyone
he
does,
has
no
a
matter
right to
what
do
they've
that.
built.
Yeah.
It's true.
And
1A.
That's right. Yes, I think
part of
that's-
1A.
Auditing suicide?
It's in the Bill of Rights.
Code 7 on the wall. I can blow my brains out at the post office, okay? No, listen.
Poster 7 says so. As long as it's for news purposes.
his best friend's like, what? You want me to show you the poster?
You want me to show you the poster?
Let's go read it together then. Yeah.
He's got the gun in his mouth. He's like, fine, I'll take it out of my mouth and show you. No, listen, with Bourdain, it's like he could have just had a bad oyster.
He probably had an upset stomach.
Maybe he just
Not
had
like-
food poisoning.
He should have
My
come.
tummy hurts.
He should have got a sailboat and joined a yacht
Yes.
club.
That's
and
the
if he
move.
wants good oysters, if
Yeah.
but the thing though with Bourdain, he was an amazing life, short lived. All the great ones flame out. Like
Sure. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
They I won't say all the great ones, but then you have to
lot.
sadly watch them decay over time and listen
Sure.
to Bob Dylan start singing
Yeah.
when he's 60 and
Yeah.
dealing
No,
with all
it's
that
true.
Now
stuff.
Bob
It's-
Dylan's actually getting accused of some shit.
Bob Dylan got me too.
Yeah.
He was
really?
grooming a 15-year-old or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
What does it?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
he didn't even.
enough. What are we talking? Bob Dylan?
Does that mean he? Never mind. Let's not even
Yeah.
talk.
I don't
about
even
it.
know
I
anything
don't wanna
about it. It
dis-
was,
I will
just, it was
say
on
that-
Reddit. It
Yeah,
said
let's not
Bob
even go
Dylan
there.
accused of grooming
Sure.
a 15-year-old.
I don't know enough
I haven't
about
read
it
it.
to really
I
get
haven't
into
seen
it.
I did see that his lawyer said that Bob was far too busy to groom any 15-year-old in the early 70s.
That's like the Johnny Cochran, like a brilliant. No, listen, my guy's way too busy to be being a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like, what are you nuts?
That was his.
Hey, look at his
lawyer's
schedule.
excuse. I'm just upset because
You know who's never been accused? Billy Joel.
That is crazy.
By the way, let's play Downeaster Alexa on this thing a little bit later.
later on.
Yeah,
Will you sing?
I love
Will
Of
that.
you
course,
sing
I know
to that?
I know the lyrics. Yeah.
I've observed you shock an entire bar into silence with your rendition of the Downeaster Alexa.
There was like a. I bet they
I
were.
wept.
I bet they were part of a.
I wept.
He wept. I didn't even hear that.
Johnny cried.
Imagine a friend of a guy doing karaoke
I
crying
get back
while
to
he
the
does
table, I'm all
karaoke.
drunk, and he just got tears streaming down both eyes. But no, there was like a couple, it was a group of like, I would say like 60-year-old ladies, and I think a couple other husbands. And I did Downeaster Alexa, and they were into it. And now that I think about it, I bet they're like part of the yacht club.
Do you remember when you sang that song and then we met the actress from Boy Meets World?
Fuck yes.
afterwards?
Topanga?
Fuck yeah.
No, it was the
From
other
Boy Meets
one.
World.
It was
Topanga's friend.
black chick.
Oh shit, the black chick
Yeah,
who
yeah.
was with Sean.
It
Yeah.
was her
Yep.
husband.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
with
Forget her name.
And they loved Joey, and they hung out with us all night. And
They kept buying
that's
wine.
buying bottles of
amazing.
wine for
Yeah.
Joey. Like his rendition of the Downeaster Alexa must
Yeah.
have moved them. But
That's crazy.
they're
really,
moved.
what she and her husband wanted was to come to the pool. At
Oh,
my
I
house.
forgot about
they
that.
heard us talking about our dive team where Joey and I used to go get super hammered at my pool, and it was an old house, so it had a diving board on the pool, which I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's possible in California anymore.
Yeah.
To
No,
have
it was
a
like
diving
it was like 12 feet deep.
Yeah.
They don't make pools
Yeah.
that deep anymore. Yeah.
We used to go out there, get hammered, do dives all day long, get sunburnt, and then go down to the bars and do karaoke. And we would just talk about how great it was to have been diving all day long.
Yeah.
And
we talk about it.
people would try to come.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Can we come? Can we come to the house?" And I used to always say, "Absolutely, you can come anytime. Like next weekend, come do dive. We're starting a dive team. We're starting a dive team. You can come next weekend."
I heard him say yes to so
I
many
used to do
people
it all the time because we would have so much fun and we would just go get hammered and talk about it and
one of the funniest ones. We had this guy, this regular, this barfly Bill, who you met.
I met Bill.
yeah.
I verbally assaulted Bill.
He was one of the
night.
guys.
hate
If you want to
Bill.
tell that, but so Johnny and I would see him everywhere, and he heard about dive team, and he's like, I'd like to come to dive team, and Johnny's like, yes, come anytime, please come. And then like the next day, Johnny's like, oh, I told fucking Bill he could come to dive team. And then the funniest thing was that Johnny and his wife go to get like dinner or lunch somewhere, and Bill's there drinking. At a bar in the middle of the
2
day.
o'clock in the
Yeah,
afternoon,
exactly.
1 o'clock, yeah.
And Bill approaches and he's, oh hey Johnny, how you doing? And then he starts going, oh, so dive team. When am I coming for that, or can I come still? And Johnny's wife, in front of Bill, goes, no, no. And Bill like saw it, and he was just like, all right.
He hated all of us from that moment on, where he was. And it was totally my fault because I kept telling him over and over again he's going to come.
You
And I
said,
was like,
I'd be honored to have
all
you.
the time. Yeah, I was like, Bill, you got to come.
I mean, what is this idea?
You
Like
gotta
it's
come.
like Charles Bukowski thinks he's going to join a dive team.
Well, I mean, Joey and I, really enjoyed it. We were
We hyped
very
it up.
tan. We were very
tan. We were glowing.
glowing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and we were going to the gym a lot at the time. We were diving. We looked very vibrant. And the guy, to his credit, we dangled this carrot in front of him and just like walked him right up
We
the
were
pier with
selling
it. And
it,
it was,
to be honest.
He runs with anything.
We never would have had
He
him,
was
but
mad.
we were
After
selling.
that time where my wife did the little.
He was a little-
You could tell a difference?
She was like, he's never.
He was a little
coming to the
butthurt
house.
about that?
He used to come up to Joey and I at the bar, and he would go, "So, how's the dive team?"
Oh,
He's like,
God.
"How's things going up in
That's
the?
sad.
How's
Jesus
things
Christ,
going
Bill.
up in the canyon?"
Oh,
He would
Bill.
say.
All disdainful.
Yeah, just miserable.
Oh, fuck.
So Bill's like an alcoholic. He's there.
Oh, yeah, he
all
drinks
day.
every day.
Yeah,
Well, every time we go to the bar, he's there, and we go once a week. But so he's there all the other days.
Yeah.
He's the meanest son of a bitch ever.
Yeah.
He's so cantankerous.
He's an old
and
rattlesnake.
he loves just talking
Yeah.
shit endlessly.
I think I called him a Bruce Springsteen roadie.
He looks
No, he
exactly
tried to
like
get
it.
into it with you.
Well, Devin is the best guy at like. I've seen him do this with famous star like Blake Anderson
Oh,
from
yeah.
Workaholics.
Workaholics. Yeah.
Yeah.
One time, our friend J Lo, we're hanging out outside the Red Line in Silver Lake. Some guy walks over, and J Lo, he was very hammered. He gets a little sassy sometimes.
Yeah, he turns into a bit.
He said a weird thing.
he
that
does.
Yeah,
I've seen him.
He
get
does,
sassy.
yeah. But so he like we're smoking a cig or something, and he just goes like, "Look at this guy's pants," and
He had on like red pants.
he had like weird red pants, like they weren't that
And I
crazy.
didn't. And then he came up to our. He
No,
came up to our
he came up
circle.
right to me, and maybe he thought that I said it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you don't like my pants? You don't like my pants?" And he's like getting. I'm like,
From Workaholics.
yeah, the main,
The long-haired guy.
long-haired guy. Yeah, exactly. And listen, you're a fan of the show. It's a great show,
hilarious
right?
show.
It's
It's a
very
funny show. I have
Early.
friends that are friends with him.
Right, so he's like a professional. He's a very successful comedian. His job is being able to speak and like, so you think he could defend himself quite well. And so he's coming up and he's like sort of in my face, but I'm just, I recognized him immediately, by the way. So I'm just going like, I didn't, relax. It's not a big deal. I don't want to be
pants
like,
are
oh, it
fine.
was J-Lo who said it, not me.
Right.
I'm just going like, okay, man. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Like, all
Was
right.
he really wearing red pants?
He
though?
was. He was
Yeah.
wearing the
Those salmon pants.
salmon
Oh,
pants.
salmon.
No,
That's
they were
different.
red.
No, they were red. They were
They were
coral,
red?
actually.
They
on
weren't.
Coral.
They were like really tight red pants.
next-
I guess they were odd. I
the
don't know.
next
I wouldn't
day-
have cared.
the
or
next
said
day
anything.
on
Were they
Twitter-
leather?
No, not quite that crazy.
Then it's fine. You're allowed to wear red pants.
Sure,
as long
no,
as
I
they're not
agree.
leather.
They
Like,
look like
I-
shit. They look terrible.
The next day, he went on Twitter and he was like, "I almost fought a guy last night for calling my coral pants
That's what it
red."
was.
You
Coral.
were at the Red Lion.
They're coral.
Yeah, so I
Right.
think that was in
So he
J-Lo's
basically
head.
walked up to our circle. I didn't
He's
know
being
who he
very
was.
aggressive with me. Devin's not even in the circle. He's being very aggressive to me,
But
and I'm
Devin-
trying to de-escalate
but-
like
but-
Emma
but
Ganser
Joey,
recommends.
Joey.
And then suddenly he's being aggressive. I'm kind of going like, yeah, sorry, man, sorry, like, talk to you later,
But
like
then
trying to get him
Devin-
out of there.
But then Devin became a mother hen.
Devin, no, that's exactly right.
When I'm hammered and somebody approaches my family,
yeah.
and I'm not sure what's going on, I go into full attack mode.
Mother
And
hen.
so I just started attacking him and making like roast jokes
And everyone's
at him.
laughing
did.
at
And everyone's
Devin's
laughing.
jokes, and he's trying to say stuff back, but nothing's
listening.
working.
No one's listening.
Nothing's working.
And he
then
thinks
says,
we recognize that he's a big star, and no one's showing him.
Devin
Yeah.
actually did one of the funniest things you could do without knowing it. He goes, "You look like the workaholics guy." Yelling at him in the
I said
car.
that like the whole night.
No, you said it like
And
10
he would be
times.
And we
like-
only found out the next day that it was him on Twitter.
Well, I knew. I recognized him.
Which
but
is
but
the
he would be like,
coolest move.
he'd be like,
Yeah.
he just wouldn't, like, he could have said, like, I am him.
I harassed him the whole night, and I harassed his friends
you were
and his
like,
family.
Blake
I was
Anderson, like
I
you
was
knew his name, but
screaming.
you didn't know it was him.
I saw them like hours later at the taco truck, and I started attacking his friends again. He walks up to the taco truck. I go, "Looky here!" I go, "Look who it is!"
He's like Calvin Candy.
Dude, it was like crazy. And then
You're
I
like-
find out the next day he's a famous guy and
you're like torturing
workaholic.
him.
What'd you say to his friend?
I kept calling his friend like Boris Diaw, and I kept saying
His
like
friend
he
is
looked like a reject
famous
basketball
from the
player.
Looks like a
Spurs,
fa-
right?
Yeah.
His friend's a famous photographer who.
Yeah, his friend like photographs like
Skater,
Michael Jordan
skater,
apparently.
Skater photographer.
Yeah, so he does a lot of.
photographer. He took
Yeah, he's taking
MJ?
pictures of MJ, and I was just screaming at him.
Just took pictures of skaters.
No, I mean, it was a hilarious night, and then the next day I woke up and was like, oh, I insulted Barack Obama like last night. Like, it was insane.
No, yeah. So yeah, that was one of the funniest things.
I've heard it before, but I'm still laughing.
It was so funny. So
It's the most, probably the greatest night we've all spent
was just so
together.
funny.
And so he looks.
It was
he
ridiculous.
was dressed up like a skateboarder or something. And at one point, and we're forgetting a lot of the very funny lines, but at one point, he's trying to say something, and Devin cuts him off, and he goes, "Dude, no one cares that you're friends with Bucky Lasik." and at that time, it was just a perfect soul read. Like, we didn't know he was a famous skateboard guy.
And then he was like, you don't like skating? And he got all, like, in his feelings.
No,
about-
he was trying, at that point, he's like trying to bond with you. He's like, oh, do you skate, dude? And like, he was olive branch.
And then I think I said, like, no, I don't play with toys.
Yeah, exactly. you go, yeah, that's what you said. I don't do anything like that.
I'm such a dick.
I
He
gotta
was
say-
trying to be nice
It was an olive
finally.
branch.
No,
And I was
Yeah.
still like, go fuck
You
yourself.
missed your opportunity.
I
Because
gotta
I
say-
saw him attack a friend. No one comes
Yeah.
at my family.
Well, it was actually, if you knew the context, it's quite sweet. But from an outsider's point
I
of
look
view,
like a crazy
it
person.
looks like a venomous, vicious,
funniest
unprovoked
part,
attack.
I gotta
also
say,
a little from the insider's point of view. It looks like that.
Well, I guess from my point of view, it's like, oh, he's defending me, so it's nice.
One of the funniest parts that I remember, it was just so small though, when you called him Boris Diaw, no one really knew what you were talking about except like
but he
Mark.
got
But
it.
he did.
And
He got it.
His face sunk.
He got it.
He was like, people have been calling me that for years.
Yeah, he said that.
Like it like destroyed him.
And then I saw
he's
them.
like a bench player.
I saw
He's
them
not
at the.
even like
What I remember feeling the worst about was when I was kind of sobering up, but I was still a little wild at the taco truck later. Like, it was like a block down from the bar, and they walked up to the taco truck as I'm getting food, and I go, well, like I'm like, look here.
You're now a movie villain.
I'm like, if it isn't the workaholics guy,
You're like a bully from a '90s movie
and
now.
Boris
Yeah.
Diaw,
Cobra Kai
and he-
showing
and-
up at
Yeah.
the taco
Yeah.
truck.
and the
Exactly.
Boris Diaw guy is like hiding behind Blake.
Like, oh,
Oh
fuck
my
yeah.
God.
And he's like, "Fuck, this fucking guy won't quit," like that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Did he change his pants?
I wish.
He comes out, he's wearing like slacks, like just like the most basic.
But it literally got to the point where they hid behind the taco truck and like got in a car, like drove off, and they were like, "That fucking guy won't stop." And then the next day,
woke up and tweeted
this,
first
like,
thing.
The next day, on top of Blake Anderson tweeting about like, "I almost fought a guy last night for calling my coral pants red," his friend, who's like a rapper or something, was like, "Yo, I would have fucked those guys up, bro. Like,
Yeah.
fuck those guys."
yeah. And then he got canceled 3 days
And then
later.
he got like accused of rape.
yeah,
what-
yeah.
Blake's friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
raped
rapper,
someone.
his
Yeah.
Blake's.
know.
Well, he
Blake's-
probably would have.
No, not
Fucked
the
you
the
up.
skate guy.
No,
it was
no,
like
not
a
Boris
third
This
Diaw.
other
guy.
like
comment- he's
yeah, this
chiming
like
in on
fat,
social media.
It was this like fat black dude that was there, and he like picked them up, and like he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'll fuck them up."
Yeah, yeah.
After I rape,
Yeah,
what a night!
that was fun. That was
What
hilarious.
a fucking
You're a
night!
good friend, Devin.
I'm
though.
not
You
kidding,
are,
Johnny.
yeah.
I woke up the next day. I was like, I don't know, something. I guess something happened last night. I don't really remember. And Joey puts in our group text. He sends the message, the screenshot of Blake Anderson's tweet, and he goes, "Dude, it was him."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? Oh my god!"
Because I kept saying
you subtly recognized him the whole time and weren't 100%.
No, I knew
sure.
it was, but they all kept going like, "No, it wasn't."
The entire night, I was like, "You're not." I was like,
we got back to Devin's house, and I go, "That was him," you know, and Devin's like, "No," but Devin was so confident.
I was adamant it wasn't
him.
him.
At that point, I started going like, "Well, fuck, maybe I don't know." And then the first thing I'm like, the next morning I'm like, "That was him." Let me do a little research. And then I found out, I confirmed that
because you know when you're like so drunk that you're done like realizing real things.
Right.
So I was drunk enough, but not drunk enough to like. I was like not drunk enough to like still be able to have good thoughts. But I just assumed just random drunk guy wandered up to our table and started.
Well, also,
That's honestly all it was.
So that's
honestly,
literally
that is
all it was.
That is what happened.
So you don't go, oh, random drunk guy is famous guy. So you just go, you look like that guy, and he never admitted it. So I just kept going like.
It makes for a much funnier story.
It's a
Well,
much
also like I feel like this is how I look at it. Like we knew a guy in the comedy scene who looked just like Blake Anderson, so it was like they all look like Blake Anderson.
Oh right, that's another thing. Yeah, we did know a guy that looked just like him.
I
Yeah.
did not think it was Blake Anderson.
Yeah.
I was standing there with Joey,
And I feel bad. I would
was
hang
like,
out with
no,
that guy
it's some
normally.
guy who looks like him.
You
I
just,
didn't believe. I didn't believe
hit
it.
him on a bad night. And,
He's a good guy. He's friends with Jamel.
Yeah. Well, don't say that.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
I for one look forward.
Nothing actually.
I want to make up with him. I mean, I feel bad. Listen, the whole night I did not think it was him.
I look
and
forward
Blake.
to his next TV show.
Blake,
you were just a guy to me.
come on.
I was just defending my friends drunkenly. I did not know, and I go off a little bit. And you kind of enjoyed it. He walked away like,
He
yo,
was-
I'm getting roasted right
Yeah,
now.
he said
He
that.
like
He
knew.
said that,
He knew
actually.
it was good.
No, I
he
remember
knew that
this.
I was coming
When he
at
was
him
walking
pretty
in
well.
The bar, he said, "I'm getting roasted right now." He said that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He goes, "I'm
actually.
getting roasted
He was
right
like-
now."
I
He was a
saw
good
his face,
sport
like-
about it.
He was like, "Woo!"
I'm
He
sure
was
it
like-
honestly doesn't sound like anything.
He was a good sport
terrible
about
was
it, and
done
I
or-
went too far probably,
Blake,
and
if
I
you-
apologize.
Come on, come hang out. Don't be ridiculous.
Come to the pod.
Come to the yacht.
pod. Come to the
We'll
yacht.
know
Get
how
on
to
the
sell
yacht.
this thing within 2 weeks.
Dude, we
within
should
2
be-
weeks.
How about we take it out while we record and we all die?
Yeah, well, that's very likely.
Let's all drown while we
Are you
record.
trying to Natalie Wood us?
I would love, dude. I mean, my whole life has been leading up to a Natalie Wood moment. You know, when I was on Catalina, last thing I'll say, when I was on Catalina, the joke I kept making that did not go over well with the locals was I was like, you know what? You know the only type of wood that doesn't float? Natalie Wood.
Classic.
And
Very good.
That's a classic.
They looked at me like, yeah, we've heard that 8 million times.
Well, you're hearing it again, cocksucker.
Well, and I go, yeah, you're
I
hearing it
think
again, you falcon fucking
guys,
pedophile.
If you do this
You
pod,
look at the poker game.
I know you want to fuck your owl.
If you do this pod when we're out on the way to Catalina, that would be groundbreaking. For podcasts.
That'd be great.
I truly
Yeah,
believe
who's
A
done
moving
yacht?
pod?
A yacht
Well, we're
podcast?
actually in
Yeah.
the middle of a
Yeah, I'll
challenging
sail.
sail.
I can sail. It takes like 5 hours to get there.
And we could get
No, we'll
some-
have to help, and then once
Yeah.
we're course is
Yeah,
set,
once the
Somebody
Yeah.
could pick up the camera mid-recording and get the dolphins.
behind the scenes on Patreon.
And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could get footage of
Yeah.
Natalie
What
Wood's
if we
body
did-
and
What
everything.
if we did a podcast? Who's done this? Where it's like essentially the podcast is voiceover, and there's beautiful shots of everything we're
Wow,
seeing.
Richie, you just
Oh.
changed the game.
I don't think anyone's
dude.
ever thought of that before, Reggie.
Who's ever done that?
Audio over footage.
Guy.
Folks, have you heard of this?
I was gonna say
Get
that's-
with it.
It's almost like what you're doing now with beauty involved.
I know. And we look like shit. Why do you want to watch us? Why? We don't get it, but
Everyone's saying we don't. We just
No,
They don't
say
give
it-
a shit about watching us.
No,
but
they say
the
to
last,
Devin.
the
They
last
say
few
it.
episodes that we haven't filmed, they've been like, just put the fucking iPhone up. I can't jack it without you. Get that damn iPhone. Film it.
With Devin, you know it's like one, maybe two people.
Yeah, right, exactly. One
Yeah,
guy
we're
said
talking
that.
one person.
One guy says it, and Devin goes, "Everyone, it's the comments are saying it."
One guy could say to Devin, like, why don't you do a handstand while you do the podcast? And Devin's like, we all need to be doing handstands. All right.
Devin doesn't
He's a
understand
$5 a
numbers.
month Patreon subscriber. He wants a handstand. He's getting a handstand.
I'll be like, dude,
That's actually the right attitude.
Joey and I once did a podcast and arranged a standing 69.
Have I told you about this?
no. Let's finish this on.
standing
Yeah, let's finish up on this.
Not between he and I.
Standing
but
That I'd like to see.
No, we arranged one.
So in Seattle, the person who hired me for my job in Seattle was close friends with Johnny. So that's how I met Johnny. And we get out there, and they had a podcast. I won't say the name, but it was a local podcast in the area. And one of the things that, and they had a giant rented out former Petco. So it's like a giant empty warehouse.
Scheduled for demolition.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So they're about to like demo it. And, they're like, if you want to rent it for like the last 6 months before that, you get a really good deal. So this dude that owned this company, this internet marketing company, goes, yeah, let's do it. I'll put a bunch of desks in there. It was just like a bunch of desks in a shitty warehouse, empty warehouse.
Like a crumbling Petco. It was.
Yeah, the ceiling was falling apart, and it was like a piece of shit.
It's kind of amazing, honestly.
But it was awesome. And he also bought these animatronic robots that could play
Rock Fire Explosion robots.
Yeah. So Chuck E. Cheese.
But the predecessor to Chuck E. Cheese.
This was the inventor of that concept, and Chuck E. Cheese stole it. It's a big thing. But so he spent like $100,000 on these robots that could play, and then he paid our other friend to program them to play like Meatloaf songs.
And Heart.
And Heart, and like all kinds of just like weird music. There was a guy probably getting paid over, like probably deep into six figures at the time. And all he did all day was he would sit there, and there was like 5 pounds of weed in the back, and he would take one of the big bricks, and he would sit there and roll joints, and there was literally like 1,000 joints that he rolled over time. So just giant amount. He would just sit there, roll.
It's what you do when your day job is programming animatronic robots to play Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
That was his big Meatloaf song, exactly. Yeah, and then so finally, when like he was sufficiently high in his mind, he smoked enough of these joints, like he would just walk into, like where they used to put the dog food, like in the back.
Yeah,
go smoke joints. The whole place is hot box, so you could smell weed every time. He would come out. He's like, "All right, I'm high enough. I think I'm gonna program the robots." And then he would sit there and he would just program them to like shred. And so like the robot's arm would, every time like there was a riff in the guitar, it was synced up. And the mouth would sing the lyrics and everything like that.
It was like Meatloaf himself.
Exactly.
In the Petco.
It was a very weird, surreal.
It was one of the most memorable periods of my life, to be honest, because we would do this every Monday or Tuesday night, and then we would go do stand up at the open mics, and the Petco was literally crumbling around us. But this guy was running a business out of there, and he would invite the entire community to come into this space at times to watch these animatronic robots.
And it's a hip neighborhood, so people are like, "Oh, this is like an art exhibit." They don't realize that it's like a shady internet marketing firm where lesbians come in at night and they do a podcast. Yeah, so also like one of his hobbies, like he was just like had too much money, and he's like, "All right, I'll buy robots. Let's do a podcast." He bought a $10,000 TriCaster, so he'd set that up. Ended up getting like a pretty solid amount of listeners, by the way. And then so he sets it all up, and very expensive setup. There's robots in the background playing music, and so he finds like it wasn't OnlyFans, but it was what was before
Patreon OnlyFans vibe. Like
no, I'm talking about the lesbian chick.
Oh yeah, Chatterbait.
Chatterbait. Yeah.
Are there people out there?
No, I just wanted
beer signal. Okay,
I did step outside on the boat.
We are about to get raped by seals.
There's no one else. Like there's no one else.
No,
around.
I think he was asking for a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was Cam.
Chatterbait.
She was
Cam
Whore.
Yeah.
Camwhores.com.
The one that you could do token, like 5 cents per token. So our friend that was programming the robots, he goes, "I got a really good idea, guys." He goes, like Make It Rain when you do that to strippers. He goes, "I got, how like on her Camwhore site, each token is 5 cents." He goes, I got this idea. I'm going to bring in a giant bucket of nickels.
And invite her here.
Yeah, and invite her here. And then he goes, instead of making it rain, he goes, I'm going to use the nickels. I'm going to make it hail.
That was just pelting them.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous.
They have wounds.
It sounds ridiculous, but
he brought the bucket,
he recruited a girl from this Camwhore site and got her to come join the podcast.
Yeah.
and he showed up with a 5-gallon bucket filled with nickels.
It was like thousands of dollars.
Of course, this self-respecting sex worker was like, "No fucking way! Are you gonna pelt me?"
Also,
with
he's
nickels?
actually like a sweet, nice guy. He's like, "Oh wait, I actually
But
can't
he
do
was
this." It was just a
disappointed.
funny
Like,
thought.
He carried this heavy ass
He
bucket of
was lugging it
nickels.
around. We went to bars after, and he was lugging it. And he was like, "Dude, could you hold the bucket?"
Yeah.
Like,
That's like the American version of stoning a woman.
yeah, right.
We got too hammered to drive after this, and we went to this hotel around the corner.
This is
and we
my
were all-
first week
we
in
were,
Seattle,
This is, yeah,
by
the
the
first time Joey's hanging out, like doing this pod.
This is my first time
wasn't the
meeting
first
Johnny,
pod,
I
but
think.
yeah, it was like right up there in the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
few
yeah.
times you had done the pod with us. And he lugs this bucket of nickels to this hotel that's around the corner.
He's
from
like
the
a skinny
Petco.
dude. He's just like,
'Cause, yeah, he's dragging the
so
thing.
heavy.
He's trying to get Joey to carry it, trying to get me to carry it.
I
And
carried
we were-
it for a while. We both did, yeah.
So we go there, and he tries to pay for the hotel rooms with this giant bucket of nickels. he was
we found a hotel finally, and he goes, he's like, "How much is the room, sir?" And the guy's like, it's like,
100 a night per
100 a
room,
night. And he
whatever.
goes, "Okay, good." And then he puts the buck, and the guy's like, no, you can't pay with that.
He was crestfallen.
This guy kicks ass. I love this
He's one
guy.
of the greatest men we know.
It's the voodoo chick.
Yeah,
Voodoo chicken?
He's
Yeah, yeah.
open for
from
Rogan.
the Joe Rogan
yeah,
forum,
yeah.
folks.
He's
Voodoo
open
chicken.
for Rogan. The more like big theaters.
He's open for him?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. He's
He was like one of the
great
biggest
comic.
comics
What's
in
his name?
Seattle.
He's not. His name
Wait,
is
I
the
wanna-
Voodoo
don't-
Chicken. And,
I don't want to reveal his real name.
Joey, I've known him for 20 years. Joey, known him for half
10
that.
now.
He's a legend, and he was
One of my favorite
an
people ever,
admin
yeah.
on Rogan's board, and he was one of the funniest dudes you'd ever meet. He's just a character and a half, but
And he's
the
a
fact that
genius. He's a
He
genius.
fully expected this hotel to take his bucket full of nickels.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to
And
do
then-
a goof.
No, right. It wasn't like
No,
silly to him. He's
no,
like,
no.
it's money.
He's like, this is
Joey's
currency.
the
Like,
currency.
It's like a computer mind where he's like, no, this is money. That you accept money. Like
So instead of him being able to get his own room, he had to stay in the room that
Oh,
we
that's
had
right. I
booked.
forgot about
And
this.
he, this is. I mean, do you mind if I share?
No, I love this story.
So, instead of being able to, they wouldn't take his nickels for the room, so he was like, "Oh, I'm going to crash at your place," and we got a cot into the room, and so we go into the room, and the whole night he's so crestfallen about them not taking his nickels. He's muttering to himself about it, and. Joey's new to our friend group at this point. Like
It might have been my first time.
Yeah, but we had met you before, maybe, I don't know. But it was one of your first.
One of my
times.
first times, yeah.
And Joey's like fresh off the boat from South Dakota, like fresh off the boat.
I lived in Minneapolis for a
I
year,
love
but
that.
Minneapolis was
Yeah.
like essentially like hillbillies compared to
Joey
this.
got from South Dakota, and he's like,
Yeah.
I am from South Dakota.
Yeah. No, but dude, it's not that much crazier than that. Like
Yeah.
I actually like.
Fresh off the boat.
Like it was so much. It was a culture
Yeah.
shock. It
Yeah.
was. I bet not that much different.
No,
from
I
coming
hear you.
from
I
China
hear
or
you.
He
something.
shows up, and he in any case, we had a great time that night. But later that night, we're crashing. We're all like passing out.
We're all trying to go
And
to.
he lays in
It's
bed.
been like 15 minutes of everyone's. The lights are off. Everyone's
Silent.
trying to sleep.
and he starts threatening to rape Joey, verbally. He goes, I'm really disappointed about how tonight turned out. And he goes, and I need to rape the new guy.
Like he was just trolling me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew he was joking.
This is the kind of
but I
like
just
surreal
smoked-
humor that
I
this
just-
guy would bring.
Yeah, but I just smoked like a bunch of Seattle weed, so I knew he was joking. But it didn't matter.
You're also
not a
a little
big
bit
weed
freaked
guy
out.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so like when I did
Joey
smoke weed
whited
in
out
South
like,
Dakota,
totally. He was terrified.
when I smoked weed in South Dakota, it was like there were seeds in it. It was like shitty weed from the reservation that my friend would get, and so. But now I smoked this crazy Seattle weed. Lugging around a bunch of nickels. I'm with this giant bearded computer genius who's muttering shit to himself, and he's like programming robots to play Meatloaf songs. I've never been higher on weed ever in my life.
Joey carried the bucket of nickels around earlier in the
exactly.
night. Like this whole thing.
That was like a rites of passage. 'Cause like you called the nickels, so I'm like, okay, fine. And then so I'm already like before we even like go to the hotel, I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna like walk back. Like it was miles away, but I'm like, this is weird. I don't want to stay here. Like this is odd.
I had to intervene.
I'm not tired. And Johnny's like, no, you're fucking hammered. You don't know the city. You're
Just
gonna
let
get
him rape
lost
you.
or arrested. I was very drunk, so I'm finally like, all right, let me try to say. But I'm already sitting in bed with my eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, while everyone else is probably close to sleeping. And then I just hear like, Johnny, I think I might rape the new guy. And I was just like, I know you're joking, but I can't even laugh. Like, I'm fucking freaking out. I stood up and I go, guys, I'm like, I get it, dude, but I'm having like a panic attack right now. Like, I don't, like, I know you're joking.
You're joking around.
Yeah, but
he wouldn't break the character at all.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't break the character. And he would go, no, I'm not joking. I'm going to rape you as soon as you fall asleep.
That's what he kept telling him. As soon as you go to sleep, I'm raping you.
Yeah. But finally, like, I was just like,
I did intervene, Joey. Did I not intervene?
No, you didn't. No,
and I told him, I said, if you rape him, I'm gonna rape you.
Another great defense.
Hey, rape for rape. It's in the Bible.
Here's when we get into the whole rape game. We're gonna do it then. Yeah. But no, at one point, like during the panic attack, I literally got up and I put my shoes on and I'm like, all right, God, like it was nice. I had
to stop him.
Johnny's like, don't. And I finally
told the
was.
Chicken. I was like, look, hey, he's freaking out, dude. You gotta stop.
Yeah, don't.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, it's not.
By the way, that wasn't really affecting the panic attack that much. Like either way, I was panicking.
You were weirded
I went
out.
right. Well, I was very.
human
That
would
was
be
making
weirded
it worse. That was making it worse. And then I went.
Your
Go ahead.
survival instinct kicked in.
Yeah, for sure.
definitely
Yeah. No, it freaked me out.
here.
It freaked me out. And then I go, finally, like, you calmed me down. You calmed me down a little bit. And then
We've
I
been
went.
friends ever since.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was like, God, I don't know about that fucking bearded voodoo chicken guy, but Johnny was fucking cool as hell. But then, so I was like, all right, you're right. I'm freaking out. I'm being a fucking pussy. All right, I took my shoes. But then I just sat in that little cot and just stared at the ceiling for about 4 more hours. Finally fell asleep. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It felt like prison. I've been to jail before, like for like a DUI, and it literally felt exactly like jail. But I just sat there, and like at some point I must have fallen asleep for a couple hours, and we just got up and left. But what a time! What a time in life.
The funniest comics, but I felt like you were right up there with him in terms of comedy. We used to have so much fun at these open mics we would do back there at the Comedy Underground, which has been shut down. I don't know if you're aware.
I didn't know that now.
The Seattle Comedy Underground is shut down. It is no more, which is a sad day because that thing's been around for decades.
Yeah, no, I was never like good at stand-up, but if you're a funny person in Seattle, it's just like, okay, it's kind of like there's not really funny people.
Is it crazy for me to request that like a Voodoo Chicken somehow get word of this?
We'll have him call in.
He would definitely.
He
would call it.
Now, didn't you guys like?
Is that a crazy request?
No, it's not. No, he would do it.
Haven't you guys like been to dinner with like Rogan and shit back in the day?
We used to hang out with all those guys.
Yeah. So Johnny and Voodoo Chicken and the owner of the company, the warehouse and the robots, that guy, they were all friends with him. So when Rogan would come to Seattle for a UFC, they used to do like UFC on Fox, and they would go to the Key Arena and they'd host like Nate Diaz came one time, and then like Benson Henderson,
Nate was fighting Benson.
And then it was Demetrius Johnson fought, and Melvin Gillard, Rory. Oh, fuck yeah, I forgot about Rory.
Bj Penn.
That was the Bj Penn. I forgot. We were sitting, because Rogan would give us front row seats.
Wow.
So we were sitting, not front row, but like, so there's the front row, like we're 3 back.
We were in the UFC section.
Yeah. So the row in front of us was Bj Penn's like mom, his sister, maybe his wife, his whole family. And then Rory McDonald at that time was just like this unbeatable GSP protege, like this, freak show. And we all knew what was going to happen because BJ's on the way out. And then we're like, oh my God, he's about to get brutalized. And
his mom sitting right in front of us.
Oh, and I saw a sticker off their chair. By the way, they would have just given me one, but I was like, this is kind of cool. They had a big stack. But it was on my computer for years. But then, anyways, we watched BJ Penn, one of the worst beatings in the history of the sport.
Rory was doing the Muhammad Ali shuffle, like while he was punching BJ in the head.
Just stunting on him.
He was, and BJ's mom and sister were in front of us holding their heads.
Yeah.
And they were not happy.
It was visceral.
Being around family during a beating.
Different experience.
Just to give a more recent reference, is this worse than the Tony Ferguson fight during the quarantine when he was just getting like
close? It was close.
Like
it was
the
bad.
Charles Oliveira.
I mean, that was a bloodbath.
You can go rewatch this one.
No, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was like it might be top 10 all time.
Rory
most
showboated
brutal.
while he's kicking his ass. It was that bad though. Like it
It might have been. I have to rewatch. Maybe it was worse.
No,
I don't know.
BJ
Close.
BJ is skilled enough to defend enough
Yeah.
more than that fight.
Ferguson
you're
was just
referring
like
to.
taking
Yeah.
hits.
No, BJ got.
Well,
his
Ferg's
ass
too
kicked,
tough for his
though.
own good.
It was
Yeah,
just like a
BJ will
bloodbath.
like go to the
I'm
ground.
just trying to give like a more recent
Context,
comparison. Yeah.
That was the night you met MC Hammer.
Oh yeah, I got a
was
great
the
picture
night,
with MC
You met
Hammer.
MC Hammer?
MC
Yeah,
Hammer
that
was
was-
in the front row, and he's wearing sunglasses indoors with a bolo
I remember
tie
you
on.
got the
or
picture
something.
with him, right?
Polo tie.
Right, I think so.
Yeah, I think he had a bowl.
And then, yeah, at some point, I think like the Voodoo Chicken's like, dude, you go get a picture with him. You have to. And I was like,
I think
okay.
he got a picture with you ultimately because
Well, Voodoo-
Hammer
no,
was
Voodoo-
so happy to see you.
Oh yeah, exactly. But he was wearing sunglasses indoors, and I happen to have like sunglasses in my pocket, so I just put mine on, and we're both wearing sunglasses in a dark arena. But it's great. But
That
anyway-
was the night you threatened to fight Liz Carmouche.
oh
I
yeah,
believe.
Liz Carmouche.
Who's Liz Carmouche?
She was like a female star
Contender.
fighter.
Oh, so you
contender.
were like, I could fight a woman.
Well, yeah, I was doing my whole take of like, and I don't even do this as like a goof, but this is how old it is. I've been doing this for like 10 years now, I guess. But it was literally because like my running.
I forgot this was a running gag
Yeah, yes.
your life.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I would always, if I'm getting threatened with rape and stuff, I'll be like, dude, I wrestled. Like, shoot a double on you. Like, that's what I'm saying. And then Liz Carmouche is fighting, and like, maybe Voodoo was like, do you think you could beat her?
Because you had said on the podcast you could beat any woman
Exactly.
at MMA. At
Yeah,
any
yeah.
time.
And I still kind of think that. Even like Amanda Nunes, I'm pretty sure I could fuck her up.
No,
I think I could.
no way.
I'm
Cyborg?
pretty. Yo, I mean, I think Amanda Nunes is better than Cyborg.
She is, but I feel like Cyborg's a better
Do you think-
style matchup for you.
You think
You're right. You're totally right. You are right.
Do you think Joey would easily get fucked up by them, or
For sure.
Yeah.
What about
No,
Joanna?
everyone thinks that. No
You
one.
think Joey
Joey
could
has,
fuck up
you know what?
Joanna?
I'll tell you this. Joey has good enough wrestling to
Survive.
and I don't know his boxing well enough.
Not good. No, I don't. I've boxed a handful
so I
of
think
times.
I think he could survive. I think it depends if we're talking about the 115s or the 125s.
I'm saying any weight.
You know, what, 145.
I think
you're
Gabby
in trouble.
Garcia
I
maybe
think
could.
you're in trouble at
I think-
145.
Well, I was gonna say Gabby Garcia could maybe fuck me up, but here's the problem: she doesn't know takedowns,
Yeah.
so she's not gonna get me on the ground, and she doesn't know striking, so I'll just fucking box her ears.
Joey,
out.
when is the last time you wrestled? Like, when's the last time you took somebody to the ground and it was like a real,
It was like
a real
jiu-jitsu
thing?
at Cobrinha's.
Okay, like back in Koreatown.
That was like
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
He talked all the shit on the podcast, and it was funny. It was just for laughs.
But
Really.
yeah,
like
yeah.
Joey's not really threatening any women or anything to fight them.
No, he doesn't do that.
He's
He
not
doesn't
trying
do
to
that at all.
baby them
I do
or
that.
anything. But
no,
Until
Joey
right-
doesn't do that.
until right
anyway.
now.
But-
Joey's
but-
at Sweet Green, like, I'll fight you. I can take you down.
The,
To
the
the
best
clerk
part,
at Sweet-
the best part of the Liz Carmouche incident is we were watching her fight in the cage, and she was awesome. She won her fight, and
But that
we're
became a
kinda-
big
we're kinda
combo
nudging him,
during that.
And we're like, "Hey, Joe, you really think you could beat her? She's just kicking somebody's ass, you
Yeah.
know, right in front of us here. Immense skill."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, for sure, 100%." And later that night, we went out to a bar nearby. It was at Key Arena in Seattle, and we went out to a bar nearby. And we're walking back towards Key Arena later to jump a bus
Abandoned
or something
street,
to
late.
go home. And we see somebody walking towards us up the street from Key Arena, and sure enough, it's Liz Carmouche.
And Johnny instantly goes like, "Oh, big tough guy! Look at that white go."
I go, Joey.
Here's your chance,
we keep
Joey,
Nudging
yeah.
him. We're like, Joey, go ahead. Like, now's your chance. Like,
Totally. Yeah, but it was like I think you guys
He's a
invented
gentleman.
that goof for me.
yeah, we did.
I think it was
you
you
made an
guys.
offhand remark at one time. And
And maybe
we
maybe
attached
not
to it.
though. I think maybe even like Voodoo was like the one who started it, like being like,
You should fight
yeah,
it.
like you're always
No,
talking
I
about
made it.
wrestling. Like, yeah, could you think you could beat her? I think that kind of prompted the whole thing. But anyway, the reason we brought this all up was for the Standing 69. So, anyways, the chick from not OnlyFans, but the cam whore chick, she came in and
Cam whore.
and for some reason she had this wheel of like you spin
Oh,
the
yeah.
wheel. And it's like, it spins around and it will land on one of the things on the wheel.
You could. She had the same thing on her virtual thing where you'd pay her tokens.
She'll
and she would spin the
masturbate,
wheel.
or or one of the things that she'll do anal, and then one of the things is this or that. And she goes, and I have a blank slot, and I'll let you guys pick it. And the owner of the company, I was the big new guest, so he goes, all right, Joey, like you pick it. And I go, okay, Standing 69 with the other lesbian chick, like a Standing 69. And they wrote it in. And then she spun it, and it landed on that out of like 12 options. miracle chance, and then so
That's crazy.
so then
So they were forced to fuck.
no, not fuck.
Oh.
They did a standing 69.
Forced to fuck.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
Kind of.
they did,
It was a sexual.
They didn't do oral, but basically what happened was they were both naked, and then the main cam whore was standing up, and then the other cam whore was like a gymnast or something, and she did like a handspring into like, so the other chick standing up like ready to catch her, and then the chick does like a handspring, lands upside down, so her pussy like lands in her face.
Oh,
she,
shit.
She catches her.
Wow.
And then I think they kind of like motorboated each other's pussies or something.
pretty
a little
cool.
bit. It was very awesome, but then like there was a fall, and
Somebody fell.
The main one fell.
She couldn't hold up the other girl.
No, it was like the dismount or something, but she eventually fell onto a table filled with Miller Lite cans from me, and like she like fucking knocked a bunch over, and she was like really embarrassed, and I go, I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna be ending the night the exact same way, so you're okay. But yeah, it was a very weird, cool time, and that's how I met
I like
Johnny.
That's cool that they even attempted.
Hell of a
it. I
story.
like,
That'd be funny. The whole time you guys were at the UFC, the whole time you guys were at the UFC, and everything you guys were talking about's happening. Joe Rogan's in the corner announcing the vaccine is fake.
Yeah.
Don't get the vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 11 years prior. No one has any clue what he's talking about. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. He's a CIA plant. We all know it. No, he's been nothing but nice to me, at least. I mean,
He's an incredible person,
Yeah.
and I don't give a shit about anything he does in the modern age.
Neither do I. No, I think he's-
within this new time.
I have too short. My attention span does not work well for.
I don't listen to any-
comic podcasts.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than this one, of course.
Of course, I have this
Of
one.
course, he listens to Hate Watch.
Yeah.
Get on
I've
it,
been-
folks.
I have.
Okay, a man with a boat listens to our show. So why don't you?
I've listened
You
to
want
most
on
of the
a
Hate
boat?
Watches. It's my favorite podcast today. I'll say that right now.
That's amazing.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Johnny.
God,
Thank you.
You guys do a good job, man. And I think you could do better. But
Agreed.
this is a good start.
Well, no, trust me, we're getting rid of Richie soon.
Yeah, once I quit, it'll be a much better podcast.
We're actually, the reason we brought Richie to this boat is because we're going to kill him like Bobby Bacala.
It's Funhouse. Yeah.
It's the Funhouse
This episode's
episode.
titled Funhouse.
I recently
you
had a
said-
dream and a fish was like, it was Richie, and it was like, I'm the weak link, right, Tone?
Well, it is a perfect spot for a killing.
This is great.
Yeah.
We'll take the boat out.
Honestly, this is just so nice.
Accidents
No,
happen out
we'll,
here.
we'll be on the
They do.
deck, and I'll be like, "No, I don't have to do it anymore." You're like, "No, we're gonna kill you."
Do you know what? It's also
I'll just
it's
sit out.
also
I'll be the producer. Like, what?
it's an honor to get killed on a sailboat.
It is.
It really is.
If the boat's over
For
30
a
feet,
podcast,
you're getting,
it's a little sad, but just in general, it's pretty cool.
you're getting
cool.
killed on a yacht. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Pretty high class. As long as Devin pulls the gun out of a fish, I'll be cool with it.
You can keep guns on these boats. Also, I've learned.
Really?
You can be heavily armed. You can
To shoot pirates?
Yeah. Yes.
Seriously,
And-
like why?
Yeah, I don't-
what else
well,
is
it's
the
just like-
gun
because
for
they're
other than
basically
these
considered
damn
homes, like-
Somalians?
Oh, it's the
you have
same
the same
laws
rights
as
as
a
you do
home.
at your home.
I found out that
Yeah.
my sister's new boyfriend in Maryland
Is Puerto Rican?
has a straight up gun locker.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
No, actually,
They let him have a gun.
quite the opposite of Puerto Rican. No.
brother to that.
Brother.
That's
like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sorry to hear that, brother.
genuine.
Heard he was a Puerto Rican, brother.
That's funny.
I'm here to talk about it anytime, brother.
No.
This must be tough.
No, but
I can only imagine how rough that is.
he's so waspy. He has over 80 acres. We're talking like Dick Cheney, like hunting.
Like, shoot a guy in the ass and then blame him.
Right.
Yeah.
He has a whole locker of guns on like an 80-acre piece of land in Maryland.
Wow.
Are you inviting us?
I'm a huge.
What
fan
is this
Absolutely.
about?
I'd love to go.
Full of guns.
Does he have like ATVs
I
and
just
shit?
found that out. Yes.
Does he have snowmobile? What state?
Well, snowmobiles, no, because it's
Oh,
Maryland.
okay.
But
It doesn't snow in Maryland?
it does, but not for
Not
Not enough
to
to
It's not enough that
snowmobile?
you
You
would
need
like.
feet of
you
snow,
wouldn't
yeah.
buy.
Of course,
Maryland's a boat.
The
a boat
DMV
state.
sucks.
state.
The DMV's full of retards.
It is.
You could buy.
You heard me.
That's a cool double down.
Get
But
me back
anyway,
on TikTok.
Very cool double down.
Have you officially been permanent
Completely banned.
How
Haven't
many
gotten a-
followers
By the
did
way,
you have
No
when it-
response.
How many followers?
14,000.
15K, yeah.
I had 14,000 followers
You
in
know what, though?
2 months.
Yeah, you know what?
But-
We're kind of above it.
Good riddance.
The Chinese government has deemed you unfit for
Yeah.
TikTok.
It's a good
That's
thing, actually.
basically
It's kinda
it. And
street
so
cred,
You're
yeah.
a danger to them, and they're a threat to our democracy.
You're right.
So
You're right, Johnny. I'm
Also,
actually proud
I will
of
say
it.
this. In the hands of Johnny or I, with access to your email and TikTok support, you're unbanned in like 24 hours.
it's possible that we
No,
could
I
get
mean,
them
like, we
unbanned.
would-
I mean, their office is just over there in West Hollywood.
Somebody
Well, I'm
did-
just saying, like, we could draft
Yeah.
an email that they would read.
No, we could
Well,
just
let's
go,
or just go to the
over
office.
Somebody
Yeah,
did
yeah,
tell me
yeah,
to
yeah.
the kid we met in Santa Monica that
The
was
gay
a
king of TikTok.
the gay king of TikTok.
He's lying.
Jimmy Westwood.
Yeah.
He was
buy
like,
it.
why don't we go down to the TikTok headquarters in
Yeah.
Culver City and like film it and try and get your account back?
I mean,
And
not
was
film
like,
it, but like if you actually want to get unbanned, it's probably not that crazy.
can you
of an
just
idea.
like go and have like an
No, like you
an
could call
interview
and be
with
like,
some
no,
person?
yeah, schedule an appointment and say I'd like to talk to. They might say like fuck off.
Listen,
You're but if you
develop a relationship. and
exactly
build,
set
you
it
know,
up
Yeah.
right,
from
you can definitely get unbanned. But,
I'd love to.
let
I'd
it
love
go.
to have him on and speak his case. I think he's a liar.
He never said he could get it back. He just
was
said, why
talking
don't
about-
we?
He's like,
talking
"My-"
He
about-
said, why don't we
he
go
was
to the
talking
headquarters?
About being mob related.
Oh, the mob stuff. Yeah, he said he was from like Chicago, and then he said he like held a gun to a guy's head in
Yeah.
a mob.
Oh, I
thing.
don't remember. I didn't
Mobsters
remember
don't
that.
tell you,
You were-
about
you were-
that.
you were-
No, he's not a
blackout.
mobster. He was like a
Yeah.
young kid.
No,
who said,
Joey
like,
was
what I was
blackout.
saying.
Joey was ordering wine from like Mel's Diner. He
Yeah,
was
it
like,
was the-
he was
J-Lo
asking them about the wine they
No,
have.
J-Lo was the one who also was like, yeah, he's a liar. He was
J-Lo-
saying that the
J-Lo-
whole time. J-Lo was on it from the beginning.
No, has very good senses.
J-Lo, no matter how
with
drunk
all that
he
type
is,
of stuff.
always just
J-Lo
like,
is
you're lying.
J-Lo like knows like the scum of the earth,
yeah.
like, and he knows
He can tell when
who's
you're
who's
lying.
up
Well, he
to what.
did know a lot of like mobsters in the area.
He did know names that
Yeah.
sounded legit, but
well, I knew because I know a little bit about.
his story of being told to go put a gun
didn't
in a
hear
guy's
that.
Say that to
I
me.
didn't-
Yeah,
I
he
don't
told us an
remember that.
entire. This
Yeah,
kid,
I
this kid
blacked that
told
out.
us an entire story in Santa Monica
Yeah.
about how my grandfather had me like go and put a gun in a guy's mouth and tell him like you're done on this corner.
probably a
and,
lie.
And I
I'm
was
sure
like,
that's a
you
lie.
would just say, "Don't worry about it," or like
you would
no.
you don't tell a group
You'd
of
be
people
like,
that.
Hey, what do you get? You getting the
Yeah.
cheeseburger?
Exactly.
You would just like move.
You
on.
move on.
That's
Yeah.
a lie. That's probably a lie.
Yeah.
But he was a good guy. He
I
was fun to
love
hang out
that
with,
kid. I love
yeah.
that kid. I really enjoyed him.
He's
We
a
should
good
hang out with him
liar.
again.
I like that kid.
Richie thinks
You
Reggie,
admire
It's
a
not
good
thinks.
liar. Here's the
We
thing.
all
Here's
just
why
agree
you can
he's a
admire
liar.
a good liar.
Yeah, but you keep saying it.
The reason you can
What
ever
does that mean?
admire someone.
I don't
Johnny,
know.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
The only reason you can ever admire a good liar is it's a self-aggrandizing moment where you realize you caught them in a lie. And you're
they
proud of
rolled with
yourself.
it? You had
for
a good
being
read. It's
better
like a poker
liar.
read,
You
yeah.
go, I caught this guy in a complex lie. I saw through it, and I recognize that, and so I am a superior liar.
Yeah.
What I ask you though,
Exactly.
what I would ask you though, is lying about gang-related things a good lie?
It's a good way to
I don't
get
think that's
killed by a gang.
yeah,
I don't think that's
That's why
categorized as
gangs
a good
kill
lie.
other-
I think
yeah.
that's a bad.
But he's
lie.
lying about the perfect
I think
gang-related
that's a
stuff because
pathetic
he's lying
lie.
about mafia.
dumb lie.
He's lying about mafia
That's
stuff.
a bad
I mean,
lie.
whatever.
The
who
mafia doesn't
cares?
exist. If he was
Right,
lying
that's
about
a
like being an
bad lie.
MS-13 member, it's
He's
like,
the
hey, they
gay
may
king.
get back
That's
to you.
even worse
Definitely
lie.
knows people. Like his family definitely knows people in the mafia. I got
Yeah.
that from him because
No.
I grilled him on stuff like because I've read.
You spoke to him in Italian for a moment.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
like-
exactly. My
Joey
native tongue.
pricked his finger.
My native tongue. Yeah, I had him burn. I gave him a picture of a saint that I lit it
Yeah.
on fire.
you waited to see how
Yeah.
he tried to put it out.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, that was the right method.
Here's the Pope.
He's probably from.
And then when he finally gave, enough responses, Joey goes, "You're a good kid."
You're a good kid. Yeah,
He
oh, good
slapped
idea.
his cheek. He
Yeah.
pinched it.
pinched his cheek.
He's probably from Deerfield,
No,
Illinois.
I read
The
a
kid's
book.
probably from Laguna
Maybe
Beach.
he read the
Yeah,
book that I
right.
read, but I read a
I
mafia
give him
book.
more credit.
And I was kind of just like, I happened to know
Oh, you
one of
read
my
a book.
friends knew his father, one of my best friends growing up. It was like a My Cousin Vinny situation where he came from Chicago, where he was like very good friends with Frank Calabrese Jr., like in the
legend.
Chicago, a legend, right? So that was their best friend, and he would come visit South Dakota and stuff on that level. And he wrote a book, which I read. And then, so I know a lot about the Chicago Mafia. And so I was grilling him about like stuff like that, and he knew. So either he read a book Or he probably, it's not that crazy
He
just
knew
to
enough.
know.
If you're going to develop a complex series of lies around your identity, you definitely need to have read some books about that.
He either read a book or it's probably not that much. He didn't seem like a big reader to me, and I'm sorry, Jimmy, if you ever listen to this.
What a waste of good lying skills, though, to tell you guys these stories in a bar when he could be out there talented Mr. Ripley.
That's why I believed him, because I was like, why would you be wasting your big lie on
my read was that
it was odd.
It's like growing up in Los Angeles, actors, right?
Yeah.
You ran into them when you were a kid. You have a friend who knows.
You're looking at one, pal.
I forgot him with a big movie star. Movies. When is the movie coming out?
In 5 years. I'll be getting a colonoscopy the day it comes out.
Yeah, Devin keeps texting the director/editor going like, how's it going? And he'll just give like a long
he just gives me this long
response.
verbose response, and I'm like, right, so the vicissitude of the parallel universe is coming together perfectly. And I'm like, right,
so what month?
The vicissitude. Anyway, when's it edited? When are we done?
You sound like a guy who's got points on the back end.
No, Devin's just.
I got this.
Look, I'm a real act. Like my movie. People don't believe me.
You know, I got a movie being edited by David Scatino. I'm fucking nervous.
Yeah.
No, but it'll be good.
I can tell Devin wants to just be like, let me into this. Let me edit it.
I'm close to driving up to Portland and just standing in the room with my hands behind my back, just like huffing and puffing for weeks on end.
You're like,
let's get to it.
Move on.
That was a great take. Next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Portland's dangerous for your kind today.
Dude, I know. I just saw Pig. Have you seen Pig with Nick Cage?
I saw Pig. Yeah.
I did not think it was that great.
Nick Cage.
People were hyping the movie up so much, and I was like,
"There's
"What?"
no such thing as a great Nick Cage movie, but they're all very good,
special.
and
Yeah, I love them.
You know what?
Yeah.
Joey, you nailed it.
I love
They're
Cage.
all special.
I
he
loved
may
it
be my
because of
favorite
Cage.
living actor.
Yes,
because
no,
he's so
mine.
entertaining.
He's mine for sure.
He's such a character unto himself. You know, you can literally watch him in the movie. He just did a movie called Willy's Wonderland about animatronic robots, just like the ones we were talking about.
That.
He doesn't say a word in the whole movie.
I watched that,
and he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I watched that.
He doesn't say a word in the whole movie.
He shows up and he starts working there for some reason.
Yeah, they would have had to pay him more if he were to have speaking lines, and he was willing to do the movie for a low price. It was a hilariously entertaining movie. Like, it's not a great movie, but it's very entertaining.
What was the crazy visual movie he did?
Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy was
I can't believe you guys knew exactly what I was talking about.
Me and Johnny watch
We're
every
huge Nick
Cage movie.
fans.
Yeah.
Well, Bad Lieutenant.
Johnny's a huge Nick Cage.
Port of Call, New Orleans, Bad
I'm a
Lieutenant
massive
is one of
Nick
my
Cage
favorite
fan.
movies ever. I remember seeing that in theaters like 5 times. Because the first time I saw it, I was just like, I had no clue it was going to be.
I think that's his best movie.
I didn't even realize it was directed by Werner Herzog. And when he takes the oxygen...
Werner Herzog. You can say Asia's name, right? But not Werner Herzog.
because I don't respect Nazis. But I'm kidding.
Or documentarians.
Go eat a shoe. So I in Bad Lieutenant, when he takes the oxygen tank, he takes the map
from the old lady.
When he takes the oxygen out of the old lady's nose. I laughed so fucking hard. I should have been arrested. How hard I laughed. Like, where people should have been like, "This guy's gonna harm old ladies soon."
His soul is still dancing.
Yes.
He goes, "You're the people like you were the fucking problem with this country."
Yeah.
To an old woman in a nursing home.
What's
Everyone check out Port of Call, New Orleans, Bad Lieutenant.
Maybe my favorite scene is when he's writing in exhibits. He's writing shotgun in exhibits like Escalade or whatever, and you can tell that exhibits reactions are like his actual reactions, because he's like, all right, I'm going to be in a movie with Nick Cage. He's like National Treasure guy, hell yeah. And then Werner Herzog shows up and he's got like lizards on set.
He's got iguanas.
He's like, bring the lizard in front of the, put it in the hood, put it by exhibits. I want to see how he reacts. And exhibits starting to go like, this is weird. But then Cage starts acting, and it's not normal acting. It's not Cage in National Treasure.
It's insane.
He doesn't watch like I don't. Maybe he's a big film buff, but I don't think he's watching like even Leaving Las Vegas any of his big eccentric roles.
This man is exceptional on many levels.
He's an incredible person.
Bringing Out the Dead is one of the most special movies, and it's weird and it's funny. And the most interesting part about Cage and where he comes from, and I think what shaped him, is that he's a Coppola.
Yeah.
He
changed it. I was about to say that.
And he's got
running.
This legacy that
he's running from his legacy, and that's why he's trying to be so great in another realm. Is because he hates that he's a Coppola.
Yeah, his last name was Coppola.
He changed with the Cage.
Every single actor in the world would be like, "Oh fuck yeah, my name's Coppola."
Joey and I know Noah Cage.
Do you really?
Oh, his son,
Weston,
yeah.
My favorite Cage moment is him
Weston.
and Vince Neil from
Cage.
Motley
From
Crue
where?
Yeah.
fighting. Like
our
Nick
friend
Cage.
knew him in high school. He like dresses like a fucking like Marilyn Manson fan.
He's a punk rock. He's a goth.
Guy.
He's a goth
guy.
My favorite Nick Cage scene outside of film is him trying to stop Vince Neil from fighting someone in the streets in Las Vegas when Vince Neil is wasted out of his mind.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen this.
In
but they're
Leaving
like
Las
best
Vegas?
friends. No, in real life.
Oh, fuck. I was like, is that a scene in Leaving?
No.
It was like the deleted scenes.
There's a scene of there is a and it's been, I swear, probably 10 years since I've seen this video, but there's a he and Vince Neil from Motley Crue were best friends at some point, and Vince Neil and Nick Cage may have had substance abuse problems at some point, and Vince Neil is wasted in the streets of Las Vegas trying to fight someone, and Nick Cage is trying to stop him from fighting someone else, and it's just so surreal and funny, and it's the guy is a freaking legend.
He's incredible. He's such a. I mean, listen, little movies, even like a weird movie of mine that's like in my Rolodex of like
Raising Arizona, by the way, masterpiece.
Well, Raising Arizona's masterpiece, but I'm talking about an even weirder movie that like most people have not seen.
Valley Girl,
The Weatherman.
Oh hell yeah!
I've seen The Weatherman.
I fucking just like anytime I see The Weatherman on TV, I put it on just because I'm like this fucking. I just love Cage being this like.
Yeah.
He just hates his family,
but
he's like really into his shitty
That's his
job as a
falling down
weatherman in
moment.
Chicago.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It's like a good job, but it's not good enough for his father.
Yeah, his dad
He's
is
got
like
this
a
fat
famous
daughter.
philosopher,
Yeah.
writer.
He's got,
like
that guy, if charisma was a measurable thing, he would be the benchmark for charisma. And the reason why is because he doesn't have to blink his eyes, and somehow he exudes a certain feelings. And that's what, to me, a great actor is one that doesn't really emote at all and doesn't have to show, because the audience projects so much onto the guy.
only
Cage,
yeah,
and
you're right.
He's exploring weird thoughts and expressing those thoughts in ways of acting in a way that is a massive risk to any big movie.
He's
every director that agrees to work with him on those types of movies is like, this is going to be weird as fuck.
Lionsgate puts him in everything now.
Yeah.
It's like these old school Hollywood deals where they have talent on their roster, and he'll do any movie that they throw him into.
Yeah, but he's like, I'll do it, but I'm going to act very fucking weird.
Well,
and they're like, all right, Cage. You got
his biggest thing is that
what they want.
he's obviously like in debt in some way, and so he makes like 100 Chinese movies a year.
He went broke, and then he made a lot of
movies.
Well, this is
but I think in that time when he was making all those movies is when people were like, Nick Cage is like a clown actor. But people
it was National Treasure 1 and the National Treasure 2, and then I think
Face Off.
No, so what was National and Face Off? And he did a bunch of blockbusters before. I can't remember, not everyone, but
Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas. That was an Oscar winner, but not a huge blockbuster. But so, anyways, he's the biggest star in Hollywood at this point. He's the biggest box office star at that point, actually by numbers. But so, what was the National Treasure that he did in South Dakota at Mount Rushmore? I think 3.
Yeah.
I think 3, or maybe it was only 2. I don't know. I can't even think. I've seen them all many times, and I could tell you the scene by scene if we go over it, but. So in one of them, they filmed.
In one of them, he steals the Declaration of Independence.
I believe that's
the
true.
ultimate
We know
audit.
that. Yeah.
The ultimate audit. The original
The ultimate audit.
The ultimate audit. A Magazine steals the Declaration
You'll
of
never be
Independence.
Cage, Amagansett.
But no, he came to South Dakota to film that thing, and he went to, my friend Cody Johnson owned this cave called Wind Cave. His family owned the property where this famous cave is, where you go into it and it's like this massive thing that wind blows through, and it's remarkable. But Cage comes to South Dakota, and this is why he went broke. He was in the middle of his spending spree. So he's buying castles, he bought a T-Rex skeleton, he bought all this crazy shit.
As you do.
As you do when you're Nicolas Cage and you have unlimited money in his mind. But so he comes to South Dakota and he goes, I think I'll buy Wind Cave. So he goes, he finds Cody Johnson, That's the kid my age. That's the kid my age. He contacts the Wind Cave and he goes, "I'd like a tour of Wind Cave. I want to buy it." And so my friend Cody Johnson is responsible for giving him a tour. He was my age. He was like 16.
Yeah.
So my 16-year-old friend is now bringing Nick Cage into Wind Cave and just going like, okay, so like here's the cave. So one of the parts, I've been to Wind Cave and they take you on like school trips there when you're a kid. So you go there and there's this one thing where it's dark. It's like pitch black. It's a fucking cave. And then there's a switch that you pull and then all the lights start turning on. And Cage goes like, "Oh, it's my bat cave." He's already imagining, like he's got these fantasies where he's like, "I'm gonna own this and turn it into a bat cave."
Yeah.
So he goes, he does the tour, and he leaves telling Cody, my friend, "I'm buying this. Like yeah, for sure. Like you sold it, brother. Like we're doing it." And my friend's such a retard. He's going like, "You're kind of bald, aren't you? I didn't realize that. They kind of hide that in the movies." He's a retard. He told me the story, and I was like, "Why? You said that? I'm like, you're an idiot. You were the legend." But he's just like, he's a hillbilly.
And Nick Cage's like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I am bald. I guess I am bald."
But then like 2 weeks later, the news came out where it's like Cage bankrupt. Like, and we're like, "Oh." And then I'm like, so I guess
been
he's
selling
not buying
his hair.
Yeah, I guess he's not buying
ruined
the
him.
cave. Yeah, exactly. No, he never bought the cave. But I guess he's not closing on the cave, huh?
He just wants to buy a cave so he can call it the Cage.
The Cage Cave.
He's like, it's not a cave, it's a cage.
Yeah.
He must have lost out on the Batman Redux. Just decided he's going to use his
He's
money to buy
honestly-
an actual Batcave.
He is in such a vast array of movies. I mean, Adaptation
Yeah. Oh, I love
is
that
a
movie.
masterpiece,
It truly
and
is.
he's two characters in it. He's incredible. I mean, I think what fritzes people's mind about Nicolas Cage is that he's simultaneously
Well, Yiddish, Richie, that was for you.
he's a fritzes. He simultaneously is in like respectable art films
Yeah.
and like the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
And he makes the worst movies ever made watchable.
Yeah,
Because
he
he's
does.
fucking Nick Cage.
He's
You
dripping
can't
charisma.
fuck with Cage.
Johnny, he's
in-
dripping charisma.
He's incomparable. He embodies charisma, and he deserves to have everybody watch everything he ever makes.
Damn right.
Because
I
he's
will forever.
entertaining as fuck, and
Damn
he's earned
right.
it. And the fact that he bounced back so fast from major bankruptcy is it's well deserved.
This is a Nick Cage podcast, man. This
Cage.
I
podcast
love
supports
Nick
Cage to, with every fiber of
All
our
the
being.
Patreon money goes to Cage.
yeah.
All we want is you to give Patreon money
It
to
goes
us
straight to
so we
Cage.
could give it straight to Cage because he's not doing great.
Leave a review for Cage.
You've all seen Willy's
Leave us a
Wonderland,
review.
right?
Leave us a review. We here love Cage.
He's incomparable. Christopher
for
Walken
Cage.
wishes he could be Nick Cage.
Oh God! I mean, Devin the other night was telling me he's like, we were watching or talking about John Wick or something, and talking about Pig, and we were like, Devin thought it was going to be, and so did I, a revenge movie. Like, oh, they took his pig, becomes kind of an exploitation film where it's a revenge movie, and then it wasn't. It was a much different film. But Devin was saying like, but if it were a John Wickish type of film, Cage would be much better at that than Keanu.
Imagine John Wick with Nick Cage.
Oh my God! Well,
where Wick has some fucking emotion.
he's done some
Yeah.
recently. He did a movie where it's all centered around this shabby hotel, and Cage plays a Wiccan character.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was called, but it was a really good movie actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are open to creating a spin-off podcast, but I'm proposing right
Cage,
now
Cage
a
only podcast.
A Cage
I would
only
love
pod.
that.
Honestly, we literally could do that. He's made so many movies.
I'd be
we
honored.
could do a podcast where every episode we do a movie of his, and
Yeah.
we won't even get to 300.
I honestly think
That's
this needs to
Patreon
happen.
for now on. If you want the Cage Only podcast, it's coming up once a month. We're going to do a Cage Only podcast.
On the
Johnny's
boat.
gonna, yeah, on the boat.
We'll
Every-
watch
On the
a
yacht.
Cage movie
Oh,
and then
wow.
turn the pod on right
Yes,
after.
That's
and,
a fucking
Man.
great idea.
All right, we should wrap this up.
and then we'll kill someone.
And then Richie will have a little accident at the end.
Richie's
Every
replacement. will
single
be-
podcast, I'll die.
He's Kenny now.
Say goodbye to Richie, folks. Tonight's the night.
Oh my God, they killed Richie. Every single episode.
But
Richie, you're far more likely to kill than to be killed in my
True.
estimation.
I've always
yeah.
thought that about Rich. He's kind of a creep.
Well, we'll find out. Just keep listening to the podcast. Do a little plug. Do a little plug.
yeah, you know,
Like, subscribe,
like,
comment.
subscribe. Please rate and review. Just leave a fucking review on Apple, okay? We have like almost 1,000 listeners, and we only have like 84 reviews. Go write good. Just go there and write 5 stars. Good podcast. That's all we ask. It helps.
Next time you watch an episode of Ted Lasso on Apple TV, you go into the store and you rank this.
Which
good.
my fucking dad keeps trying to get me to watch Ted Lasso every time I
let me
see
tell
him,
you
and I'm like,
something.
I don't
I've
even
never
want
heard-
to.
Let me tell you something. I watched it. It's great.
Is it good?
it
Okay,
is.
good. I'm glad my dad's not an idiot.
It will make your heart swell with happiness and joy for the
Oh,
human
I'm so
condition.
excited.
No, it's actually just kind of funny. It's
It's
a
like
good
fine.
show. Yeah,
It's like good.
Maybe
really-
tell me after the podcast, but I don't know what this is. I'd like to.
we'll tell you after.
It's a good show.
Let's watch To Live and Die in L.A. Thanks,
Hell yeah.
folks.
William Fichtner's finest.
I'm going to kill everybody on the podcast.
We're on a boat. We're going to kill Richie.